This episode of the Giant Bombcast is brought to you in part by Lisa. Lisa is an innovative, direct-to-consumer online mattress brand that is also socially conscious. In fact, for every 10 mattresses they sell, Lisa will donate one to a shelter through their 110 program. Not to mention, with a patented universal adaptive feel, TM, Lisa is designed for all types of sleepers. And now, Lisa has expanded its offerings to include the Lisa pillow, blanket, foundation, and frame. You can try a Lisa mattress in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. It's available in the US, UK, Canada, and Germany. You get it online. You get it shipped to you for free. That's right. This 100% American-made mattress ships compressed in a box right to your door for free. Or you can try it out in person at the Lisa Dream Gallery in Soho, NYC, and Virginia Beach, or over 80 West Elm stores nationwide. Get $125 off and get a free pillow when you go to leesa.com/bombcast.
Hey, it is Tuesday, March the 20th, 2018.
Hell yeah, it is.
In addition to the usual assortment of chuckleheads.
Hi. We got a new chuckleheads.
Almost a full house in
Yay.
here. We one seat short of a full house. Straight out of Nihon. Straight off the plane. Mark MacDonald, John Ricciardi.
Hello.
Respectively of
Greetings.
Enhanced
Welcome,
Games
guys.
and 8-4.
Thank you for having us back.
Yeah.
It feels like GDC now, officially.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
totally.
You guys are in town for the old Game Developers Conference.
Yes, sir.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say H4, and I was like, no, that's the hentai offshoot localizing H game.
We don't
Yes.
talk about that.
That's for after this podcast.
Do you guys have to redub those at all, or no? Okay.
What's going on? You guys are fresh off a plane?
That's
More or less?
right.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Hanging out, announcing games.
That's right.
This
You
morning?
know how we do.
Yeah, rolling in here with some hot news.
That's right. Yeah, there was a little Nindies thing this morning.
Yeah.
I think there's an event going on as we were recording this, but yeah, Lumina's remastered.
Yeah.
Announced May, coming for whatever, everything.
You
You
know,
name
video,
it.
video
It's got a
games.
screen on it.
Yeah, Switch, Steam,
Yeah.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Game.com.
PlayStation 4, Game.com port cannot be confirmed at this time.
Back of an airline seat.
Pladia?
Yeah.
We can do like a...
Back of an airline seat. Hey, now I gotta write that shit down. That's not a bad idea.
You got to diversify.
I saw somebody playing Tetris this flight, and I was like, yeah, they still got it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
that same game from like 20 years ago. That same exact version of it. Same like not really even a D-pad controller on the.
Just ported to whatever weird Linux offshoot runs on planes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, what was it? Was it Virgin had Doom, right?
I think that's
For
right.
real?
Yeah.
No
Wow.
kidding.
Yeah, they had a port
Wow.
of Doom on this thing, and I remember the one time I was on a flight that had it, the D-pad broke. So like, or like the whole controller broke, so I was able to get into Doom but not out. So I just like spent the whole flight staring at the Doom menu, going, "Man, this would be fun to play." Just
that music playing the entire time.
it was a great experience. So yeah, definitely get into back of the seat plane games.
Yes, please.
It's great tech.
Doom is very on brand. I feel like for Virgin, their version of airline in-flight game. So yeah, Lumina's coming in May.
Dude, Luminous is a good game.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
My expert opinion.
So
is that Luminous is pretty
weird
cool.
thing. I didn't know
Yes.
this was coming.
Yes.
Yesterday, I played the PSP version of Luminous.
No, really.
I was
First, the first one?
Yeah,
I guess that's the only one.
Yeah,
right?
and I was sitting there. Well, two came out.
Okay,
too.
okay.
Yeah, and it's like sitting there playing it, going like, "This is still a really good game."
Yeah.
It's and I was like, "It's probably about time for that thing to come to more
Oh
platforms."
man. Oh man.
And I get
Wills
in the,
it.
yeah, I get in the car
Yes.
this morning. It's like, oh, that's totally happened. Man, that's fucking weird.
That is
Yep.
bizarre. What prompted Luminous yesterday?
I don't
Yeah.
know. It just happened. I was like, yeah, what was good on the PSP?
Sometimes Luminous
Luminous, and that's about basically.
I was actually researching. Do you know much about at some point? Because I was looking at how well that the original Luminous sold on PSP. It sold really well, but actually, apparently, part of the reason it sold well, it had like a big bump a year or two after it came out because there was some kind of exploit or something that you could use.
right.
Oh, to like
like a
hack your
firmware
PSP
thing
or whatever.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there was always like a handful of games that would just have like, oh, we corrupted the save just right to do
Right.
this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's right.
like
Yeah.
whoever published, what was it, Cubic Ninja on 3DS is
Yes.
stoked.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, oh, whoops,
Big sales bump. Yeah. Whoops. We'll just tweet about that.
Mech Assault sales
Yep.
still through the roof.
Yeah.
I
I can't confirm the memory exploit will be in the new version of all of the games, but
But it better be.
it is that same game. It's
That'll
got-
be up to the platform holders.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
all the same music.
So yeah, is it kind of like a greatest hits or
No, it is Luminez as Luminez. It's
the first one?
OG
Okay.
PSP,
Cool.
the game that
All
Jeff
right.
was playing.
Yeah.
All of the songs, the UI is redone. The graphics are the same graphics, but they're being completely redone just so they're on a full console they'll be 4K. On Switch they won't be, but it's just like it's the same look, but it's just a hell of a lot sharper, and all that. So yeah, and it will be a I don't actually know because I didn't see the press release if they announced the price or not, but it will be a friendly price. Let me just put it that way.
Friend prices.
Yes.
nice.
I'm excited.
yeah.
That's my favorite Luminous.
Please look forward to it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
So-
totally. That was because like it got re-released or like updated. Like I think the
Yeah.
only post Luminous that I really liked was that Genki Rocket skin for like the 360 version or something.
Yeah, so there was Luminous Live.
Yeah.
There was, and then they released like a Christmas pack as well, which I didn't even know about. I found out about a bunch of
right.
stuff
Yeah.
looking back for this, but yeah, they did like a holiday pack of songs later on after that. But I think I'm the same way. Like I remember the original Luminez a lot, and then past that, it's like kind of fuzzy and all the different versions of it that come out. But
It's a pretty simple formula, but they got it right the first time, and the soundtrack was really good on the first one too. So it was just like perfect, basically.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is like, maybe what if there was a skin pack released after the fact? What about some res skins? That would be like a cool look.
it's a very interesting idea.
That'd be a cool look.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the other
Write
idea
that one
I
down
had
too,
while playing it yesterday. I was like, I bet you could do some really cool shit with this game now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, while we're talking about cool old Mizuguchi games, how do you guys feel about Meteos?
I
fucking love Meteos.
No, that's a good ass game. That'd probably be good on a phone.
Okay.
That'd probably be good on a phone.
Or other portable platforms with touchscreens, it might work. I don't know. Just putting it out there.
Duly noted.
Okay.
Duly noted.
Jeff, you got to play some
I'm glad-
Meteos and think about, wouldn't it be cool if this came out
Okay,
now?
yeah, I can do that.
I'm glad we could propose this idea to you that you have certainly never thought of.
No,
before.
absolutely not. No.
Who could have ever
I know.
imagined? Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to pull Sakurai out, I guess, for that
right.
for that one
Just-
too.
just delay
Him and
Smash
his
Brothers. He
tag teamed on that. Yeah,
can
Smash.
wait.
Yeah,
Biggie.
who cares?
Just do like a Smash Brothers version of it. It's just like, I don't know, like a Mario Planet. I don't know. Just on the Mario Planet, the red ones jump better. Something.
Hire this guy.
No, it's done. This is all being recorded.
Are you guys looking for anybody?
Only reason
Yeah.
I'm not taking notes is because this is all being recorded.
Okay,
so
fine,
I can
great,
just go
okay.
back later. And,
Well, let's just keep it going.
review it there, yeah.
Here's okay. Res
yes.
2. What about what if you just like said like, hey, that Area X thing was pretty cool. What if there was a lot more? It was like that.
Area Y and Z. Is that what you're saying?
What about a whole game length game?
Like maybe 5 more of those. I don't know.
Yeah, 5 or 6 more like Area X length things.
What system would you want that for?
Like a
Roku.
something with a headset on it,
Roku, that's what I was
probably
thinking.
something that I could like strap a full body suit on
Yes.
and play it, or a trans vibrator. Either way,
Maybe that PlayStation 9 commercial where it's like a
Right.
crystal ball or
Yeah,
something
sure.
that just beamed direct to your retina.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you want synesthesia in
Recorded.
its fullest state,
Absolutely. Yes.
like that's the natural progression here. HoloLens, basically.
There you go.
Yeah.
God,
Okay.
you just reminded me like the last.
That HoloLens existed? Yeah, I know.
right.
Yeah.
No, like the last really like revelatory demo experience I had with the game was playing Area X in that hotel room.
Oh, wow.
With you guys sitting there.
Thank you very much.
Like, it
yes,
was-
Pax, watching your every move,
Yeah.
like judging.
Just played through the whole thing and came out of it like trembling a little bit.
Were you in the suit?
No.
Oh.
Sadly, no.
Yeah, we got to
but-
get you. Did you ever? You got in the suit in the first PSX,
Yeah, I
though,
think
right?
we both
Yeah,
we both
yeah, we
tried
both
that
did.
thing.
Yeah, so we adapted it later on for Area X for
Wow.
the new thing.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes you guys will have to try that.
Is there just the one suit?
Where
Did you
is
make
the
more than
suit
one?
now?
Actually,
Yeah.
there's a suit 2.0.
Oh,
It's
wow.
in Tokyo. It
Okay.
has it, but it travels on its own Accord. It has its own people.
Okay.
And
You have
its
to buy its
own
own seat on the plane.
exactly. Yeah.
Like
It has its entourage.
self-driving
Like
car.
yeah.
Do you guys just Febreze it?
Yeah,
every now and again,
I
or-
imagine the first suit was starting to stink a little bit.
Well,
so it's a good
yeah,
thing.
they were very fastidious about it. So they managed to keep it decent, but it
Okay.
was like you can only do Velcro so many times before it,
Oh, sure,
it
yeah.
starts to fall apart. So so for people who don't know what we're talking about, the Synaesthesia Suit, which is like a full body suit with little vibrators, like 26 of them throughout the suit.
in all the right places.
Exactly. You think about Nintendo talking about HD Rumble. Come on, guys! Like this is full body, full Rumble. It was time to go with like the music and the sound effects and stuff in the game with Rez when we were using it as kind of a promo thing. But Mizuguchi-san, my boss who makes these games, is super into this stuff. Which, by the way, there's a note on Lumines with that that I'll talk about in a second. But so they made the suit, and the suit had served its purpose for like promotion stuff. But
Created a buzz. Yeah.
he's so into it that it's like we're making the next suit. Yeah, see, but there you go.
It's
The
happening.
spirit is in the room.
I had a synesthesia
Synesthesia
is
is
coming.
coming.
So
I
then
could see the sound of your voice.
Yeah. Jen and I rewired some stuff that's not going to
And
play
the
on
lights
the
are a
audio.
little-
The lights are a little
misbehaving
haunted.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Found some ghosts yesterday.
But so they made a second suit that actually like lights up as things are vibrating and has like these circular LEDs. So you like turn off the lights and watch somebody play, and it's even more crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, there's videos out there of it on the net, but you guys have to try it. And
That
when
thing
you
needs
come to
market.
Tokyo,
It needs to be sold. Somebody will pay
sure,
$1,500
people
for
will
that
pay.
suit, I'm sure.
I'm sure several thousands of
I was gonna
dollars.
say, I
Limited
feel like
quantity.
$1,500 probably isn't enough.
But
That's probably true.
so again, Miz being really into this stuff, I should have talked about this. But for Lumines, actually the Switch version of it, of course, it uses like the HD Rumble, and it really that was actually one of the big reasons. Miz was actually like, "Oh my god, the HD Rumble! I bet we could make a badass like version of Lumines of this." And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
somebody's excited for the HD Rumble in the Switch." But of course, Miz being Miz, he wouldn't stop there, and so similar to the trans vibrator, you can actually add extra Joy-Cons onto the Switch version.
Wow.
So you can it feels really good when you separate the Joy-Cons from the screen and you're just playing with the screen like that, because you can when the Joy-Cons, you probably experienced this in other games. When the Joy-Cons are attached to the unit, it's heavier, and so can't like notice the rumble as much. When they're separated, it's like, oh yeah, you can really feel it. But you can also
like strap a bunch to your arms.
you can take an extra pair,
Whoa.
put it in your pocket,
Yeah.
put
Wherever
it
you like.
under your feet, put it anywhere. Yes, anywhere you so choose. But I think the demos that they're showing this week, they're actually going to have people. We were bringing Ziploc bags. It was yet to be seen if people were going to be willing to like put it underneath their feet. But it actually feels kind of good. It feels like kind of like a foot rub,
Okay.
or like you're
Okay.
tapping your foot along to the beat. It's a silly thing. We know that, but it's also kind of fun, and it's like, and you can actually change the beat to either be along to the music or actually along to the music and as you're moving the blocks. So like react to everything,
And you can get a
kind of
different
level,
kind of rumble,
or you can get and you get a different kind of rumble,
Okay.
or you can just have the rumble be just the music.
Gotcha.
So yeah, use for those extra colored Joy-Cons that
Yeah, you should sell some straps
everyone
or whatever
collects.
so people could like put them attached.
I'm
to
not
them
sure,
wherever they
yeah.
want.
Like a Joy-Con bandolier.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. I'm sure Mad Catz makes one of those already. Probably. We should just get in touch with them. Maybe.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Because after the Rock Band controller thing, and they brought the brand back, they
I
were
was
like,
like,
we
yeah.
figured it out.
It got so quiet in here.
It
Why
wasn't
is
the
that?
Rock Band stuff. It was the Joy-Con bandolier. That's where the money is.
Future of the company.
Yeah.
John, how are things going with Fate 4? What's new in the localization game?
Good. You guys have all been playing Monster Hunter. That was kind of our
Yeah,
last.
little
you
bit.
guys walk in
Little
here
bit.
saying like, is it okay to still talk about Monster Hunter?
God,
like, you
yeah.
know where you
That's
are.
all we do on our podcast, basically.
This is great because he only tells me that I have a minute, but you guys are here now. So
Now
we
you
can
get a
keep
minute,
going.
a minute each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've expanded a little bit this year.
I know.
I feel ashamed that this is probably the first time that I have only only 60 hours into a game where I'm like, I don't even know if I can talk about it. I'm only 60 hours in.
Right. Yeah,
I'm
like
only 90
started.
hours in, and that seems low too. Most of my
Yeah.
friends now at this point have totally finished the game and have played for hundreds of hours.
Yeah,
and
I think I'm like 160 or something, and just broke that hunter rank 49.
Oh, nice.
It's so interesting. I think you have to say your playtime, and you can't. There's no other metric like using hunter rank, because I'm 60 hours in. I'm still like hunter rank. I'm not at the part where you break. I forget what you go at, like
15 is
13.
Yeah, you go to 15 and then
You go
it
to
breaks when
15,
you
and then
finish the game.
suddenly you're at like 40 or 50 or whatever. But like,
yeah.
I know people who are at like 150 hours who are at, hunter rank 80. People are at like hunter rank 120.
Yeah.
Like, it's so kind of arbitrary which quests you do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because you're not going to get hunter rank experience from everything that you do. So,
Right.
Yeah, I did a lot of side stuff, did a lot of arena stuff, so it took me a while to break that gap.
So what are you doing now? Are you farming for anything? Or?
Well, it just happened, but no, I'm just filling out some
49
weapon
is
sets.
the double Kieran, right? I think?
It's the tempered Kieran.
Tempered, yeah.
Yeah, the tempered Kieran. We streamed that.
Nice.
And since then I've just been making some new weapons, just chilling.
What's
in
your
my
main?
Monster
What's
Hunter.
your
bow, actually, which
Okay.
is this is my first
That's super
ranged
popular.
weapon. Yeah, it's great. It's like a shotgun sometimes. It's fantastic. But I always go back to longsword and charge blade.
okay?
Is bow viable by yourself? I mean, it has to be,
Yeah,
obviously.
oh, yeah.
Like, I always feel like...
I soloed every monster
Is it-
in
is it
that game with a bow.
like, what do you do when they're trying to close the distance on you? Like, you just kind of have to keep...
You're super
away from
mobile
them?
with
Yeah,
that with
okay.
that bow. Yeah, it's the dodge move. Yeah, you actually get some invincibility, and you just sprint away. It's
I
pretty
see
great.
a ton of bowers.
Yeah,
I think it was the
my
second
dudes.
most popular. You can go
Depends
to
on
that
the
guy and
console.
you say
that's always so weird. It's
Yeah.
like Area 21 or whatever
Yes.
is going to be the most dangerous. Also, your weapon's the 7th most
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But I see people on there and they're always kicking ass. I'm kind of jealous because I switched to bow gun,
Yep.
which was really nice, and then one of the updates kind of capped off
The piercing
they
stuff.
the piercing ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably a little too powerful, but that's a hard weapon to solo with, especially
Totally,
if you're
yeah.
just learning it. So
Mhm.
I was a little bummed, and now I'm honestly like a little jealous of the bow people. But
Sorry.
maybe a new patch will come along and fix things.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Got the
this week,
spring
right?
update coming up.
2 days,
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Devil Joe?
Yeah,
Devil
Devil
Joe.
Joe's coming.
When does that hit again?
22nd.
22nd.
Okay. So what else
Yeah.
have they said in addition to did I see like a Dante?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
I
part of
don't-
that update?
I don't think so.
No,
that's
that
a
might be
separate
part of
thing.
the spring festival that's coming up in April, I think. So they're going to bring
Okay.
back all the main events, and I assume the Dante stuff as well.
One thing I've been thinking about with Monster Hunter is this is the first time that they need to bother even trying to do the Destiny like game as a service thing. Before now it was
Yeah.
always like separate, distinct games mostly, and then they would try to resell
True.
the game. So it occurs to me how incredibly difficult that actually is to bring stuff out at the cadence that you're going to keep people interested, and not too quickly where people feel like, oh, I didn't even do the last thing yet. I'm gonna give up on it all. But I don't know honestly what they're gonna do kind of long term. Destiny had those 2 expansions and then a major thing the following year.
Mhm.
Have they said anything, or do you guys know anything about what they're?
Well,
I mean, they're going to
the-
add monsters and do that
Yeah.
stuff, but that's kind of the
That's-
usual.
That might
track
not
they
be
take.
enough.
Yeah.
They haven't said how long they're going to be supporting the main game, but I would imagine that considering it sold like 8 million copies,
Yeah, they've got
or
such
something,
an
they've probably
install base.
got several months of updates. But the way they always did it in Japan is they would put out the G version too, right?
Yeah.
The ultimate.
sell a
So
whole new different game.
I don't imagine Capcom's going to suddenly stop doing that, but maybe now there's a reason to not do it as quickly as they used to. It used to be like the next
totally.
year
Right.
or whatever.
Does the G
Maybe-
version this time, was it always a totally separate game, totally separate multiplayer matching and stuff, or did it connect to the previous
It
version?
would always
did
carry
not,
your save
yeah.
data over, and then
Okay.
you would get some minor stuff. But then for the most part, you'd be starting over. But it was like
Yeah.
the same game plus like a ton of
Yeah.
extra monsters,
Yep.
maybe a new area or two.
I mean, maybe they just end up like doing the G version as like a Game of the Year edition type thing, where it's built on the base game and then sold separately as DLC
Yeah,
for
that's
existing
kinda
owners.
like a Taken King kind of.
Yeah.
Basically like Street Fighter 5
Yeah.
style.
Right.
Capcom's already done that with Street Fighter. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like the cadence so like Devil Joe was teased before the game even came out,
Mhm.
and then now it's just about to come out. But past that, they haven't teased any monsters. Like it's
I
not
like what they're-
a monster of the month or anything like
They
that.
teased
Yeah, it's
another
not
update.
quite, but yeah, they're teasing the updates, and I mentioned like the spring festival, and there's a lot more going on than just the events and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that's a good way because it does. It's not quite lockstep with how they released stuff before, which was just like minor events, here and there, and it's like, oh, that's cool, that's a nice tie-in, whatever. But there wasn't a bunch of fanfare around it. So
Yeah.
this seems to be a little more condensed and just chock full of stuff.
I mean, isn't it amazing that I go onto YouTube now and it just blows me away that, Jason, I know you've played it for a while, but like, if you could go back and tell yourself like 5 years ago or 10 years ago playing Monster Hunter that, oh yeah, this is going to be the game that everyone on YouTube and Twitch is going to be streaming and whatever. It's just like,
I was gonna say,
what is this world?
how does that feel? Like
Surreal
having
as
played it for a
hell.
long time, you three, like suddenly everyone's talking about it. Is there even a smidge of just like, oh fuck you guys?
No.
This game was good.
You weren't there when you had
Yeah.
to flex after eating
Yeah.
a meat and get run over every time. You don't appreciate you youngins. No, it's not
gored by a buffalango, boy.
You had to get the map out of the item box.
Yeah.
exactly, man. Like, no, absolutely. Like, if anything, I wish they would go further. With some of the matchmaking, the online options. Like,
Yeah.
it feels so lonely being in that city to me when I'm actually playing with my friends. That still really bothers
Yeah,
me.
I would love to
That's a
see other players
weird-
running around that whole place.
Yeah, you
But
feel like
that-
you're playing alone.
like
even-
Well, now there's going to be an option to at least kick you back to the gathering hall, which they didn't have before. So now
Okay.
you can basically finish a quest and go back to where the people normally would be. So no one was doing that before because it was a pain with the loading. But if
Yeah.
now
Well,
that
also,
you
there's
can
no
go
reason
there,
to go to that gathering hall.
well, now
really.
there is, I think. Now you can just kind of do your stuff there,
Well, there's
and
certain
then everybody
events
will
and
be
challenges
there.
that you can only do from there.
Oh, okay.
Right, like the arena
okay.
quests, basically.
Oh, well,
But,
right. Yeah, there's that. I mean, well, anyway, but to your question, Jeff, like, I love it. Like, I love being able to go
Yeah.
on YouTube and have like a streamer who I really like from Destiny talking about, here's the top 5 bow guns. Like, all of the
Eric's,
kind
I'm
of
guessing.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there we go.
Like all of the kind of content that I really got used to watching and just came to expect from something like Destiny that just I never thought, even though I thought that World would do better, I just never, totally looking back on it now, it's like, oh yeah, of course all the Destiny people are going to move into Monster Hunter. It's
It
that same
absolutely
crowd,
has those,
right?
It has those hooks. I mean,
a
gameplay's
lot of it.
completely different.
Totally
but
different.
I think it handles,
But the loot
latching onto
lust,
people. Yeah, the
like,
loot
yeah.
lust.
Scratches the same itch.
The pursuit is the same, even if
Yeah.
getting there is different.
And like Capcom built the bridge, right? Like they found ways to make that game more inviting. Like I
Yeah.
think there's still more work to do.
definitely,
Like you
yeah,
said, like
definitely.
that empty city stuff, like the online matchmaking, the session ID
Oh my
stuff.
God.
Like
Yeah,
it's
all that
still,
stuff is insane.
Yeah, it's still very old Monster Hunter. It's still that's the stuff where you're like, oh right, this was a PS2 game,
Right,
At one point,
exactly.
and you still see little bits and pieces of
yeah.
of like that post Phantasy Star online
Yeah,
console.
we
game.
started. It's not a guild. What is the term?
Squad.
No, squad.
Yeah, we
Squad.
started a squad, and we only got it like half full with our friends because it's so hard to get people in there. that
You
we
have
just
to
gave
be the
up.
one to
Yeah.
invite people,
Like,
and
only-
you
yeah.
have to be
Only,
on.
only the creator
like,
can invite people.
yeah.
Yeah, you have
That
to
is
be
super
online at the
weird.
same time. It's insane.
We
But
gave
I
up
think
on it.
now that it's doing so well in the West as well, like they're gonna have to. Well, let's hope they're gonna listen to feedback now from not only from Japan but from outside as well, where like people are used to playing online games and do this sort of thing. So I would assume, if not in a title update, at least the next version or whatever is gonna be more accessible. I mean, we have to hope.
I mean, they've already done so much great work as to making it accessible. They've ironed out so much stuff.
Yeah, so many quality of life improvements.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like the issues that we have now are fixable. you
Right.
know?
No, they totally
Yeah,
are, and that's
they're
why
totally.
it's curious how quickly they will react to these things, because I think something else that they're learning now, and it you just have to go through it to learn it. I mean, Bungie definitely did with Destiny, but it's just like how quickly you react and how many full-time jobs it is for people just to listen and then react and then reset dev priorities and stuff like that. Because if it was me, one of the very first things I would have done to that game, and I still think it's a problem for beginners, is people get on and they want to play with other people through the story, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right,
I want to
right.
get on. You
Yeah.
haven't played before. I'm going to walk you through
Yeah,
it.
I'll carry you.
It's a
sure.
very common scenario, and yet it's a pain in the ass to do that because you
Yeah.
can't.
You get
have
in
to
here,
watch
you watch
the
these
quest,
cutscenes,
yeah.
and then
Let me know when you watched it, and then throw up a flare.
And it's like, I'm sorry, now I'm in an SOS. I'll be there in like 5 minutes. Oh, you finished the thing. You started the next one, and now we just keep not lining up, and we have like a asynchronous multiplayer experience where it's just like a chat room. you're playing your quest and I'm playing mine, which is still fun, but it's not the same
it's
as
not the
as like showing somebody the ropes and being there for their first Rathian
Hell yeah.
skinning,
Having them
and
get in
whatever,
your way and mess up all your attacks.
knock you when you're trying to carve, and all that fun.
It's the sort of
fun
stuff like that seems like a given in a lot of ways. Like with how long we've been playing online games and how this stuff has evolved, it's the sort of stuff that comes out and you're like, man, how does it happen that but then I guess like the thing I remember is like, oh, well, what this game used to be, like they have come so far toward making it more inviting to new players.
Japan is an island.
It
Yeah,
is.
Japan is an island.
In many ways. I think it is a weird.
The hard parts are over.
Yeah.
as far as I can tell.
I think it is like a Nintendo thing where that's always frustrates me sometimes with Nintendo, but then I try to remember like sometimes you get good from that as well. Like sometimes from being in this weird like place where they don't just take the modern online features as like a given and this is how you do it, we're just going to start with this and build off it. You end up with other cool weird features, even though you end up with other like awkward
it could just
that messed up features
because they're not just hewing to expectations.
Exactly.
They kind of like step back and look at what the thing is, and then come up with their own idea or interpretation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would be a generous way of looking at it. I hope that's what it is. Sometimes it might be out of ignorance. Sometimes it might be out of like we just want to do something.
Sometimes it seems like, oh, y'all used to just use internet on phones.
Right.
I mean, I guess like Breath of the Wild is the big example to me of like they just stepped back and said, okay, what is open world actually supposed
so that
to
is
be?
a good example, I think, of the
like let's not do the like icons all over the map because that's what everybody else does with the genre. Let's like rethink what the genre actually is.
That's exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I know for a fact those guys were like really were looking at Witcher, playing all the other games. Like that was absolutely not out of ignorance. Like that was very designed.
It's actually like it's generally a cool time for you guys to be here because like Monster Hunter, Dragon Ball Fighters, I mean like Souls obviously is like I feel like Japanese games are back in a position of prominence that they haven't had for like
for sure.
It's been nice,
years?
Yeah.
Last couple of years have been amazing.
Like it's been building slowly. Obviously, like Demons and Dark Souls were a while ago, but like
I mean, near last year.
It feels like the last year and a half, like most of the big games we've been talking about are out of Japan.
Thank you
again.
for all the near coverage last year.
Well,
I was really happy that you guys
Couldn't help it.
What was that like? I mean, like working on Nier pre-release, kind of seeing that thing, like what were the expectations? Because they could not have been what it ended up being.
Same as the first Nier, because we worked on that one
Right.
too. Like during the process, of course, you knew this was interesting and cool, and it was going to turn into something that somebody was going to like. It wasn't clear that it was going to be this big. With the first Nier, one of the things that my takeaway that people really loved from that game was actually the human interactions. Like, there's just a lot of banter between the characters throughout the game, and well, human or not human, whatever they are. But like, basically, it's like
spoilers.
Spoilers, 10-year-old game. But when we were working on it and we saw the script and everything for Automata, it was like, well, okay, there's no humans in this game, so how is the best part of the last game going to actually carry over? But obviously, once you get through the whole story and you figured out what the game is about, it kind of makes sense, and it actually worked, and he pulled it off. He being Yoko-san, the guy who made the game, and
I remember with the first game because when I was there at 84 though, I do remember being like, what is going on? What is going on with this game? Like, is this going to be okay? Like, I don't know. This is like, because you were doing the script and, that game opens with like a crazy expletive thing. So you guys were just going for it, but you're like, I don't know if this thing, and then like right in the last couple months, it like really came together. And I remember there was like a feeling people were like, I don't know how well it's going to do commercially, but this is going to be something special to the people who find it.
Into that, yeah.
Well, I guess that was the thing, right? Is we used to think of that as like that's a lane, and it's not the biggest lane. It's, It's like off to the side. There's a bunch of people like really enjoying these like it's like a genre film in a lot of ways.
Right.
It's like this stuff off to the side that like people are gonna get into really deep, but it's not gonna be the next Halo. It's
people
not
aren't going to talk about it in Game of the Year conversations, or
it'll maybe
come
come away with something on the side, but then Automata touched so many more people. And it seems like, you talk about like Japanese games coming to prominence, but it just, I'm trying to like wrap my head around like what all lined up that we got to this point.
I was going to ask you guys if you feel like, is there just like something in the air over there? Is there like a vibe right now that things have changed and people are like inspired in a way they haven't been in a while? Or?
Well, I don't think that ever changed. I mean, I think, I'm curious what you think about this too, but like, from my perspective, so, Japan hit a funk in like the PS3 era because they couldn't deal with the tech.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't feel like that the creativity ever died. I felt like there was a panic there. There was like, what do we do? Okay, we have to make first-person shooters, or we have because they're popular in the West, or we don't know what's going on. And so there was a lot of that.
Got
but I think
coated arm. You got Konami making coated arms for the PSP, and you're like,
yeah.
wow.
or that what was that shooter from Koei?
I was going to say the same one, the
one
Gears
that, like,
of
tried to be Gears
War.
of War. It was terrible.
Mind
Forgot the name.
Jack. No, that was Square put that out.
No, yeah, I can't remember, but
Yeah.
it was.
I also
it was,
that reminds me of like Lost Planet 2 was this weird mishmash of Monster Hunter and like Gears of War. Like they were attempting to make this third-person military thing.
There was a little gap where there was like a sort of an identity crisis, I think. Like, what are we? What should we be doing? But I feel like, a couple things happened. One, mobile games rose to prominence in Japan, and so they got to kind of go back to what they were used to for a while, which is usually like 2D, kind of small-scale, craftsman-like things. Sure, a lot of people don't like those mobile games, but they basically got to put their skills to use, which is, that sort of thing. And in the meantime, the tech got easier, and Unreal Engine became kind of a big deal in Japan, and like Unity, and like all these things happened to make it easier to make games. And in the meantime, I think they were just sort of slowly working their way back into being able to compete on that level. And then now we're at a point again where they can make, maybe they're not AAA for the most part, but they're at least AA. They're up there. They're making games that compete with elsewhere, and they're back to putting their own kind of
I think they got
Japanese
their
touch on games.
confidence back. Like the
that's-
country as a
that's
whole,
how
like
it
for a
feels.
while, it was like, okay, I'm not really into these games, but I'm going to try to make a game like that. And there's no better formula for making a mediocre or shitty game than that. And now what they're doing is, I think part of it, what's also happened is like the younger guys have come up and they've been playing Western games. And it's when they ape elements, it's not because they think they should or they have to. It's because that's what they like.
They
like
understand.
This is a cool thing that I played in this, Ubisoft game, where I saw in Destiny or The Witcher or whatever, and I'm going to just take it and appropriate it and also like make it my own. But they're not trying to make games for other people anymore. And I think something else that helped with that, honestly, is like the success of the Souls games, like birthing this whole new genre that Japan still pretty much owns. Like I'm surprised. I think it's a matter of time before somebody in the West comes with a major series that tries to do something in that genre. But like those games are like they're making the games for themselves there still, right? And like sometimes it's frustrating because it's like, why the hell did they do this? Like we were talking about with Monster Hunter, but I think the success of those games have shown people and like the younger creators, it's like, hey, don't do what you think is going to be popular in the West or just be popular anywhere. Make a game for yourself and for your...
Yeah, I think that's... And I feel like the audience is maybe like kind of... Like I would talk about Capcom kind of building that bridge, but it seems like the audience, because of them getting into the Souls games, it feels like the audience is ready for games that are a little less hand-holdy, that are a little more deliberately difficult.
Totally, yeah.
And that sort of stuff. So it's been this fascinating change that, like, man, when fucking Demon Souls came in, I certainly would not have seen that coming.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting down with that thing and being like, what? Another fucking From game.
It's Demon Souls.
These guys are out of their minds.
Kingsfield again.
Yeah, right.
Or,
You're like, fucking what the hell?
I think we were talking for a time about potentially localizing Demon Souls, right? Do you remember? This is when I went to Japan.
We were going to. Yeah, they asked us to.
And we had heard from people, like, we hadn't played the game ourselves, but we'd heard like, yeah, there's kind of some problems with it. I don't know actually if it's going to come out in the West after all. They're like, if you die, you lose all your experience points. And I was just like, imagine not seeing the game or knowing anything about it and being told that. And I'm just like, what? Like, what? Why? What would you do? Why? And they're like, well, you can kind of go back and get it. I'm just like, well, that's crazy. Like, of course the game shouldn't come out anywhere else in the world.
And yeah, that was like, it came in before it was out in the US. So here we are playing it, servers
in
not
English.
online.
You can play in English.
Yeah, and just like going like, I think Vinny kind of got into it early on, but even he was, there was a certain element of just like, man, what the fuck is going on with this thing?
Bugged? What the hell?
Yeah.
But I think it really did benefit from that because there was no expectation, and it started off this groundswell sleeper game, which is like, oh man, if you play this game, it's actually really freaking amazing. It's not even out in America. And then by the time it came out and Namco was doing it, like,
You've even got games too that have been going forever, but have suddenly, for some reason, hit their stride in the U.S. Like Yakuza, was
right.
Yeah,
been
that's
around,
another one.
Yeah.
but it's all of a sudden
Perfect
it's actually
example.
really good. Like Yakuza 0 was great, and like the localization on those games recently has been really good too. So they've been fun to play. So
I see more and more people talking about like Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of those.
All those like visual like novel type games too. Like, and those are all. I think something else that's happening is a lot of Japanese creators like Yoko Taro actually have kind of gone independent, and now they're empowered in different ways. I mean, he still made Nier through Square, but there's different methods now. There was a story on Polygon.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah,
they just ran a
Matt
story
Leon
about it.
did, and I'm including us in this thing. But there's the kind of a Japanese system of doing things where it's like a studio. I don't know what you would call it. He came up with a name for it. It was really good in the story, but it's kind
of
of
a concept house, or like more of an idea.
Oh, I was actually just reading something about this the other day. Yeah, like designers coming up with ideas and sort of.
So how it works
finding
with
teams,
right? So how it works? A lot of times it is just a pure, it's like a famous designer goes off, starts his own company, has an idea, and then shops it around, and either gets it made with somebody that's going to be a developer, or gets a publisher, and then goes and finds a developer separately.
It's actually
it's like a movie.
Sounds
studio
close. I was going to say
system.
closer to the Hollywood model for sure.
So how it works at Enhance, we have like 5 people like ahead of each discipline, like a producer, an art director, a music guy, game designer, etc. And they are with us full time, but they go and embed. They actually just go to a studio for 2 years and work on, like when they worked on Rez, like they were just working out of the Monstars. It's a bunch of ex-Sega people that Ms. has worked with before, but they go and that's their office for like 2 years, but technically they are a separate company. So they're all one team and working on the game. So it's, you don't have hopefully that like all the communication problems and that kind of stuff. But at the end of that project, they will leave and go off and do the next thing. And so the idea is that between games, you don't have a bunch of people sit like this. Killed Mizuguchi-san had like this trauma from the time that he was at Sega, which was he would have like an inspiration for the next game, but it would not be fully formed. And it's like, well, you have 40 people sitting around waiting, so they should be doing something. So get them to be doing something. And he hated that. He really drove him crazy. And so he had it even to a lesser extent, I think, at Q. And so now what he's all about is like spending a ton of time developing the idea in pre-production. And then by the time you finally have like confidence in, okay, nobody's going to be wasting their time, then you can go and find the right developer. Like, oh, okay, it was going to be Rez. It's like, can we get the guys that actually have their own programming house now, but worked on the original Rez and actually ported it to the 360? Yeah, that guy and his studio is available. So you can match them for the genre or for the art style of the game you want, et cetera, et cetera. So that whole change, I think, has empowered a lot of Japanese creators. A lot of Japanese musicians now are able to do more different projects and things like that than they were before.
It should snowball too, because I think once more creators in these companies see these things happening, then they see other people are doing it, and they're like, oh, I'm going to do it too.
Yeah, it's not like the old mentality of like, well, I'm tethered to this company for the rest of my career because that's how it works.
I work at Konami, so I guess I'm going to work on like a boring soccer mobile game.
Here's my email address this month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jesus.
Do you think has there been a change in mentality on the business side? Like I don't know if this is accurate, but I read that one of the higher ups at Square basically insisted that Nier get made. Like he basically shepherded that thing through. I don't know if you've heard anything along those lines, or
I haven't heard
like
that.
advocated for the game and said like, hey, we're doing this.
Right.
Like, this may not be the biggest.
I mean, I do think
ever, but this is getting made.
Right, and they made that Final Fantasy 14 too. They made some pretty gutsy calls too to rescue that. Yeah, I don't. I know
with Nier there was a little bit of that because the producer, who was the same producer of the first game, he's actually recently joined the board of directors. I think he's doing really well. He's also the Dragon Quest X producer, and he produced Dragon Quest 11 as well. So he's done well there. And I know he was like going to bat for Nier. Like he knew it was because he worked on the first one too, and he knew it was sort of an unloved thing that deserved more attention or whatever. So.
Yeah, and like definitely worth doing. Yeah, man, that's got to feel pretty good to come through that process and be like, not 100%, like 300% right. See, motherfuckers. Now I'm on the board. That's right. That's cool.
Yeah, each one of these success stories, every time Nier was nominated or did something well, like that means great things for like the Japanese industry. People are noticing that kind of stuff. The awards that Zelda won and things like that, like that stuff does not go unnoticed. So it's a really, it is a good time.
Yeah, I think it's been kind of exciting to see like that kind of that mentality kind of form around like the kind of smaller team and that sort of stuff, finding studios. Whereas like the kind of the crowdfunding focus of the last few years,
Right.
like has seemed really hit and miss,
Right.
with some of that stuff. Where it's
Right.
been like, hello, I am the producer of this famed, long-lasting franchise, and now I intend to make one of those, but with a different name on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
what was the
Set me up with some money. Let's go.
I guess like
Exactly.
Bloodstained was maybe the last one of those. Has there been a big one since
Well,
then?
Shenmue was
I
another
guess
big
Shenmue,
one
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are the two big ones. I mean, there's a finite number of those that can actually
Yeah,
happen,
totally,
but yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if that model is sustainable, like long term. It just
it
seems
has to
so
be, like,
hit
it has
and
to be
miss.
like the right creator,
Yeah.
coming from the right property and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But like, if
Even
there's
then.
this newfound confidence behind it, like maybe getting that funding in a more traditional fashion,
Right.
like might not be as tricky as it was.
Totally true. Exactly. Yeah. If there's some success stories there too. I mean, if Bloodstained comes out and it's really it's coming out. If it's really good. If Shenmue turns out well, like that stuff will definitely help. Like not just future Kickstarters, but also help
Right.
creators who have done something like find funding for sure.
What do you guys hear about Shenmue? Is that the video games?
What's the word on the streets?
It exists.
Have they shown any? They haven't shown anything since the big E3 thing, right?
yeah.
Oh, they put out that
Well,
one tech trailer.
They
That's right.
showed some facial
footage.
animations.
Oh, right. There was that.
Yeah, like
Um,
engine
yeah.
test
Keeping
type
it
stuff.
true to Dreamcast. Come on.
That's
man.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll come out someday.
Yeah, it'll come out.
Okay.
I visited their office once, and they have a big team of people working on it. I mean, I think it looks good. It looks like any game that's still fairly.
I mean, I guess
early
that's
on.
the danger of announcing it as it's being funded, right? Like there is no game at that time,
Right,
so it feels
exactly.
it feels like ages
Right.
that you're waiting on it.
Well, it seems like wasn't a funding situation, but
Well,
it seems
yeah,
like the Death
but-
Stranding situation also a little bit
Oh.
of just like that whole
Yes.
deal kind of having to get announced in this big way.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Before they even
Yeah.
have an engine or any
Right.
Of that
It's like,
stuff.
now
Yeah.
we're going to go on our engine tour.
Right.
Like, wait.
Like, hey, don't
right.
I know you, I know
don't
you have a
wait
doc.
up.
I know you know what this game
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
wait up. We'll let you know when it's done.
It wouldn't be true to Shenmue if it came out though right on time,
That's
right?
true.
Like it
Or on budget.
Yeah.
That is fair.
I mean, exactly. One question. I'm curious what you guys think about this. We talked about this on 8-4 Play recently, but what would you guys expect from the dialogue in that game? Like, would you guys? We talked about this as kind of like a localization question, but
Right.
like, would you expect it to be the incident? Like, oh yes, I remember the incident.
Yeah.
True to the earlier games, or do you just expect a like modern, perfect, like smooth voice acting?
I'm trying to think of another
localization?
example of that where you have something old that was that rough that then came back in a like more polished form. Like, that's a tough.
I feel like if
question.
you look at the localized Yakuzas and look at what they're doing
Yeah.
now by not localizing the dialogue, I think that's because like Michael Madsen in there, all that
Yeah.
stuff, that stuff was fucking rough.
Right.
And now I would say those games are very well localized.
Yeah.
But
right.
I
but
think
leaving but you're saying leave the Japanese voice acting and just have good subtitles.
But are you
So-
specifically
I-
talking about like the style of writing?
Yeah,
being
yeah.
kind
I'm
of-
talking about
I
style of
still
writing
think
and the
they'll do-
voice acting.
I think for the
Yeah.
in the case of Shenmue, as a non-Shenmue fan,
yeah,
I would probably and knowing and this is maybe kind of bringing other external factors into it, but like knowing the funding, like how much money that game raised,
yeah,
and so on and so forth, and like what the general scope of that thing is supposed to be, I would expect something that was top to bottom, gameplay, localization, all that stuff, very much in line with the Dreamcast games.
okay,
Very much in line with those old things. I
Right.
think a like quote unquote good localization. I don't
Would be
know
jarring.
that I don't know that helps it. I don't know that necessarily moves the needle,
mm-hmm.
and I think it could only stand to hurt the project in some ways if it's not done well enough.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
that's well enough is certainly a key
Yeah,
thing.
like
yeah.
if you have a modern localization that still misses the mark in some ways,
Mhm.
that's going to be more anger-inducing than if they just made something faithful
right.
and kind of just stayed in that lane.
I think it's an interesting question. I do think ideal is that they have both. That there's like an alternate dub track.
Sure.
And there's like the classic
got to do another Kickstarter maybe.
version. Yeah, or the other one. It would be shitty to have to do voice acting for all of those.
Sell
but-
it as DLC, I guess. I don't
yeah,
know,
or something like that. But I think the other danger is trying to intentionally do something
Yes.
kind of bad,
Like
or
trying-
like
trying-
the old
yes,
way.
that's
exactly
what
can
I'm
be
really-
a really
That's
worse.
a real fine line
potentially.
to walk to,
Yeah.
to intentionally recreate something that happened by accident the first time. That's
Yeah,
can be
that's
dangerous.
hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
That's going to be a tough, but interesting thing to see how they choose to approach.
I
that
think
thing.
a lot of those projects that are like bringing back a beloved thing, they all walk that same tightrope in different ways,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Sure.
they're like, hey, we've decided to make this new thing, or we're rebooting this. You know, every time EA says, hey, we're rebooting this franchise into this thing that is not what you liked originally, like, it's hard.
It's also, you also run the risk of exposing the fact that maybe the thing you liked back then doesn't hold up so much anymore.
Or it's just
So
it's
it's
just
a danger,
nostalgia.
Yeah,
empty.
like certain genres, you know, like side-scrolling beat-em-ups and like some of the 16-bit style RPGs that Square has been doing. Like, sound cool on paper, and then I play them, and I'm like, this is not doing it for me.
Right. Yeah.
I was never big into Shenmue back in the day myself, really. It didn't do much for me. But I get it. I understand why it has fans. It's like, so like I do want to see what it turns out to be, but
that's a weird one because it's literally a story that was unfinished.
Yeah.
Like, people are waiting for closure on that one, so you can see why there's so
But like
much-
you know, Shenmue 3 is not going to be like parts 6 through 27 or whatever the initial plot was, right? So there's still room for Shenmue 4.
maybe.
Yeah.
You would hope they're realistic about the chances.
I don't know. It's Shenmue, I was not huge into it when it came out either. That was the sort of game that you said, this is a Frank Provo joint, and you shipped it out.
6.8.
Yeah, and you got that out to a freelancer.
Yeah.
A nice, reliable freelancer.
It was an amazing tech demo. Amazing tech demo that still to this day is like pretty unbelievable what they did with that thing. That area now in Japan, actually, they finally wised up Yokosuka.
Yeah.
They have a tour now. There's a Shenmue tour where you go to the places like, this was a hamburger stand. See, here's what it looked like in Shenmue, and it's kind of a hamburger stand. And I mean, it's a pretty desolate place. It's not hopping as
like a shipping district or
place
something
in the world. But
Are there sailors there, or
that's you got to go. You got to pay your money and find that out.
Yeah,
That's part of the
spoilers
the true life RPG that you can play if you go there.
It's an ARG for Shenmue 3.
Exactly.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's where the money went.
does everyone get to drive a forklift at the end?
Oh man, now I'm a Shenmue
Forklift
fan.
races. Yeah.
That sounds great.
It's part of the tour. You just go from shop to shop. On a forklift.
On a big giant forklift bus.
And you find a kitten at one point, and you're like, wow,
It's true to life.
look at your clock for a
Need a
while.
restock on kittens over here.
Yeah.
We got another tour coming through.
All right, it's time for our first break. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about what we've been playing.
It's time to get equipped with shock absorb technology.
What does that mean? I beat Shock Absorb Man, and now I'm going to get equipped with...
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what it means.
Okay. What does his weapon look like?
His weapon looks like the Schick Hydro 5 cents razor from Schick.
Shoot razor blades out?
Yeah, probably no. It's for shaving your face, man.
Oh,
It's not.
okay.
This is not a dangerous razor shooting device. I don't
Probably
know.
don't want to shoot the razors at your face to shave with.
No.
Probably like glide them gently.
That's right, and that's what the Schick Hydro S Sense is there for. It's equipped with the innovative shock absorb technology. That's right. It auto adjusts to how you shave, backing off or adding pressure when needed to maintain the optimum amount of contact with the skin.
Skin, huh?
Yeah,
That's what's on your face?
that's what's under the hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're trying to get the hair off and reveal the silky smooth skin underneath.
There's so much scruff, I didn't know what was under there.
That's right. You got to apply some pressure, and the Schick will auto-adjust to make sure that it's the right amount of pressure. It's got 3 custom gel formula razor refills that enable you to further personalize your shave.
Wow, just for me.
That's right. While 5 Ultra Glide blades maximize contact to help reduce redness and irritation.
5 blades.
5 blades.
5 blades?
5.
No whisker can escape.
No.
5 blades.
That's right.
One of those blades is coming for you.
No whisker is safe from the Schick Hydro 5 cents. You can customize your shave now with the Schick Hydro 5 cents razors and refills. Did you know they're available at Walmart for an everyday low price?
Wow.
Yeah,
Every day?
every day. They're there for a low price.
7 days a week.
Mm-hmm. For more savings, you can visit schick.com. That's SCHICK.com.
John, during the break, you were elaborating on some thoughts on Kirby. I was wondering if you
Oh, nice.
wanted to talk about that.
I literally
There is-
played it for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
I don't really have much.
What was your impression from those
Super-
5 minutes?
Super pretty.
Yeah.
And as all of listeners to 84Play know, we are a commercial and we work with Nintendo, so we have nothing negative to say about anything.
Jeff, did you play any Kirby?
No, I'm not a big Kirby guy. That's all. I've
Yeah.
never been a big Kirby
Yeah.
guy. Kirby is, I think, for young people or
You
like,
could say
it's-
babies on this podcast.
It's
You could say babies.
I mean, I like Kirby.
The new one.
I also
that
like
makes sense.
Kirby.
That makes
so
sense. That
yeah,
makes sense.
we're-
Yeah, checks out.
And
Checks
this one is supposed to be really appealing to series fans, right? Because there's like some deep cut, like
Yeah.
Like DLC characters.
Well, you're
Some-
the allies
Yes.
that join you are like the last boss from the Universe minigame in
oh yeah.
Kirby Superstar.
yeah, these
Totally.
kind of
That is a pretty
yeah,
deep cut.
Yeah, these kind of
You know,
like
you
this
know
guy-
your Kirby.
Yeah.
I just really like Kirby Superstar. That's the only one.
I love the concept of Kirby, but I feel
Totally.
like the
Same.
games like
Yes.
that haven't really done it for me the same way the early ones. Same way Kirby's Pinball Land did it for me.
That
Honestly,
was
like,
that was
that's-
peak Kirby.
Yeah.
I feel like Kirby needs a turbo button that where if everything went like 50% faster, it would be much better. It's just too slow. Like
There was a lot
Yeah.
of dawdling.
yes.
Yeah.
It's a
I
good
saw
word
saw
for it.
footage of some kind of tree boss in this that I would swear
Weird.
that I would swear was
Wow.
like I don't actually even know that that's an in joke. Is that something
Oh,
they do
with
in
the
every
very
game?
first few
Kirby
ones,
boss
a very
is-
famous.
is that
a
every
tree
game?
boss. Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
almost every Kirby game, the first boss is
Can't,
supposed to be
can't
Woods.
tell if serious.
Okay.
Have you
I
guys-
actually didn't even know that.
I thought I thought you were joking.
I think like the Wii U game was the first one I played, so I was like, oh, they did that in the Wii U game.
But
They do
have
that
you
in every
guys
Kirby game.
have you guys ever talked about the fan theory that the tree boss proves that Kirby is like the asshole of the game?
Oh yeah, he's very much the antagonist
Right?
of the Kirby
and he's
games.
going around
He fucking
eating everybody.
eats
yeah,
people,
that the
yeah.
tree is just there
It's
and
a tree.
smiling.
You can walk around it if
Yeah.
you really needed to.
Exactly, but no, he like pulls apples off and shoots it at its face until it's literally crying, and then that's how you beat the level.
I think there's a reference to that in Kirby's Avalanche, which was the Mean Bean Machine swap.
Puyo Puyo, yeah.
Yeah, and like there's a line where he's like, Kirby's like, "You're in my way," and he's like, "I'm just sitting here," and he's like, "Well, you're in my way."
Oh man.
Kirby finally showed his true colors.
Kirby's a monster.
Yes.
No, I downloaded it, but I have not tried it out yet. Like I've been saying, I've heard some unkind things about the performance in that
Yeah.
game.
Oh, really?
I
But
think buzz around the demo seemed kind of tepid
yeah,
from what I saw.
It is super pretty. Like
Yeah.
I know. I
it's-
love the look of it.
the
but
visuals are very much what I want, like all kind of modern
Yeah.
Nintendo games to look like, because it looks like super high def. It's funny saying that, but for Nintendo, that actually
Right.
is a thing, because
Yeah.
until last gen, you really didn't have stuff that looked this good. So
Yeah.
and they are working to cover it out east. They've run into an issue where they hook up the Switch to the capture gear and the audio comes in all blown out, and
Oh, no.
we don't know
Whoa.
what's different about Kirby.
I wonder maybe it's firmware 5.0 related.
I wonder.
Maybe.
Yeah, something changed on. Yeah, so I don't know. They are working through that, but I think I'm going to bring my Switch in and try to hook it up to our stuff and see if we experience the same problem. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm just
give it a
curious at this
shot.
point. If there's just something about Kirby
We'll figure it out.
that cannot be tamed.
Try out all those hot new parental controls while you're
Oh
at it.
hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
Lock people the fuck out of this Switch.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
We should talk about
What
it.
the
Sea of
hell
Thieves.
is this
It
game?
came out last night.
Yeah,
Sea of Thieves is out.
You guys did
Oh, I get it now.
you guys did
okay.
a stream yesterday, right?
Yeah.
we did. Yeah, yeah.
good
Played
couple
a couple
hours?
hours. Yeah.
At least, yeah.
Okay.
So we played the beta. We streamed the beta a little
Yeah.
bit, and I remember coming out of that going like, "This is a really fun thing." There's like emergent weird shit happening.
It's an amazing sandbox or playground or whatever you want to call it.
And it'll probably be pretty awesome when they put the rest of the game in.
Right.
And then the game came out, and it's
still
kind of
that.
still.
There's not-
It's pretty
There's
similar.
There's more, but
There's
not
more.
a lot.
Like they put in like the vendors and like the reputation ranks you can earn with 3 factions.
yeah. Like there was only, at least in the beta we played, there was only one faction. Now there's 3.
How deep do you have to dig in order to get some of that immersion stuff? Is it really organic? Like, do you know that if you go out on the open seas, like something cool's going to happen?
Well, everything
define
that,
cool.
Yeah, because the things
Yeah.
that might happen are going to be you find other players and fight them.
okay.
Yeah.
That seems like that's most of the emergent stuff. Like you'll find a
might not
Kraken,
be-
you'll find like there's stuff
I want
out
that
there.
stuff, yeah.
You can go on an island and find stuff, but it seems like that stuff is
I don't know if I
fight
want to
skeletons.
mess with other people. I think I want a PvE kind of thing.
I don't think this is that. Then
Really?
I don't think this is that game.
Okay.
So when you
Uh,
just straight up when you load up the game, what happens?
Nothing. There is a text intro.
Okay.
Like there's
pick a character. There's no character creator. It's just like it'll generate a bunch of random pirates, and you can just sit there and regenerate the random pirates until you find one you
So
like.
these aren't like pirates with skills.
Nope.
Why not just make one?
It doesn't
the
seem.
lack
Yeah.
of a character creator.
Yeah.
Seems
Yeah, I don't know
like
why-
really puzzling for that style of game.
Totally.
because they clearly have the mechanics to match
And
like,
that.
body parts and body sizes and
Yeah.
facial features and all that stuff, but they don't give you any control over it. It's strange.
It's that's a little weird out of the gate.
But then,
but whatever.
But then
I
once
mean-
you pick your character, it is just like the beta in that it just spawns you in a tavern without any instruction or tutorial.
well, so it does give you a little bit. I don't know.
Hey,
you didn't
put
get
me
it
in a
because you
tavern, I know
joined
what
my
to do.
game or
oh,
something.
okay, maybe it's because I was in your party. I
But
didn't
like
see that
the
stuff.
extent of the tutorial is like, hey, pick up a banana. Here's how your inventory wheel works. Eat the banana.
That's what I do at it.
Okay. Eat the banana. Yeah. Now go out here and pick up a quest. All right.
But they don't
Go.
they don't direct
Yeah.
you to quest givers
No.
or tell you how like the quest system is super arcane and they don't explain any of that.
They don't explain it, and I think that's fine. Like for a sandbox game, like obviously
Yeah.
you want some mystery to it, but this I think goes a little far in terms of just like, it's hard to get a sense of like what the goals are
Like
or
what the loop is,
or
what
what
should
I'm,
you be
what I'm
doing.
getting out of
What-
it.
So what are you getting out of like quests?
Gold that you then use to buy items that appear to be cosmetic. And my understanding is that like later on there are items that may have a genuine impact on gameplay, but generally like it's skins for a pistol, but it's still that pistol. It's skins for your sword, but it's still gonna be skins for your watch. Just like
Looking at the vendor inventories, they only sell skins for like you start the game with everything. You start the game with what appears to be all four weapons. You have a compass and a tankard and like everything that you
So weapons don't have like stats.
No.
no visible stats on them.
okay.
What about your boat? Are you? Can you get even cosmetic upgrades for your boat?
Yeah, so it's like different colored sails or like a cool
Mermaid.
dragon.
The cosmetic
for the mermaid
upgrades
for the front of it.
Yeah, the cosmetic upgrades for the boat look super cool to be
Yeah.
fair, but they're crazy expensive. And again, they don't do anything. It's like you can't make the boat faster. You
Right.
can't like add more
Well,
cannons
the
to
thing
your
is
boat.
I don't know that's the. So I'm not positive that that's the case because
Okay.
I think there are some late game things that will start to factor into like, hey, this is actually an upgrade. There's an achievement for okay. When you level up with a faction, they then sell you items that at first glance you look at it and go like, this is just another watch skin. Okay, so maybe this isn't valuable, but then there's an achievement for upgrading your like vendor bought item 5 times.
Huh.
So like maybe those items can be meaningfully upgraded
Okay.
and not the baseline items
right.
but there's no like character level. There's no, you're not like leveling up. You're not getting XP. There's no perks. It's not that game.
Yeah, so what does late game even mean?
I have
then,
no
though?
idea.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think it just means like we played it long enough to just get really into the pirate fights, which I'm not sure that that's the game I'm looking for.
They've teased some kind of like secret pirate grotto that you can only get to if you're like the highest rank or whatever, but I don't think they've even said what that does exactly.
Can I steal your ship?
Yeah.
So
Kind of, but I mean, yes.
Except I'll keep respawning on it
Yeah.
when you kill me because
Like,
it's
you
still
don't-
my ship.
Yeah, you don't become the
What?
owner of the ship. You can sail it away or you
Yeah.
can sink it or whatever, but yeah, like the player who owns it will always spawn back on it.
so if I sink it and you respawn, do you respawn underwater?
It generates a new boat at
Yeah.
a nearby island, so
Okay.
you respawn on the beach in front of your boat.
Yeah, I kind of wish the boats were less disposable because there aren't a lot of stakes to losing your boat.
That's what it seems
you
like.
just
There's
get
not a
new
lot of
boat.
stakes in general.
Well,
The big stakes
if you've got stuff on
Yeah.
your boat, because
Yeah.
everything is cash in these items.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when you go out on a bounty mission for one of the factions, there's one faction that all the quests seem to be go murder these named skeletons.
Okay.
And when you kill a named boss skeleton, their skull drops.
What is it?
And so you cash in the skull for gold and rep.
Okay.
And then, but the 3 factions, like so far, and again, this is like from a couple hours, so I hope it changes. But every single quest seems the same. It's like, do you want to kill this named skeleton, or this named skeleton for that faction?
Yeah.
The merchant faction is like, deliver these items to this port, and we'll give you an empty box. And then you have to go find the items. Like in the case that we did, it was like go find white chickens, and then deliver those white chickens to this port by this time. And then the third one was the gold hoarder
Yeah, that's
faction.
just dig up.
I think that might be dig up treasure chest.
treasure maps basically.
But then literally that's like
Okay.
you dig up a chest the same way you would have a skull. You have a chest, so you put the chest on your boat. You sail the boat back to a port. You cash in, you bring the item back to that rep guy,
Right.
and get your rep and cash in the quest.
Like I know there are some quests later that are a little more riddle based. Like it'll be like a poem that you have to read and kind of like intuit which island to go to and
Right.
how many paces to walk from a tree or whatever. Like that
Sounds
sounds kind of
kinda cool.
cool,
So-
but like I haven't seen any of that
Like
stuff.
how
yet.
big is like your map of Sea of Thieves? Like
It's a big world.
so
it
you
seems
can kind of
large.
just go anywhere. You're not like dropped into
Yeah.
predestined
Oh, yeah.
zones and
Yeah, they
work
seem
into
to
one
spawn you
zone.
at a random outpost. I think
There are other
Yeah.
other enemies besides skeletons.
I have not.
How's the
seen
combat?
any-
there's 3 different types of skeletons. I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, there are gold
There are
skeletons.
armored
Right.
skeletons.
Named
So
skeletons.
the gold skeletons are
ones.
metal, and they will rust if you throw a bucket of water on
Yeah.
them, which
Okay,
will slow them
that's
down.
something.
But they're still immune to sword attacks.
Hmm.
So you have to use your gun, and like the pistol only holds 5 shots, and you can't hold more ammo in your inventory.
Yeah, so you have to
it's like go find an ammo box on the island, or swim back to your fucking boat and get 5 more shots, and swim
Yeah.
all the way back
There is-
and put 5 shots into these things.
Like the-
and there's 8
Yeah.
skeletons, so you're like, what the fuck am I
Like
doing?
You
the
gotta craft some dung
the
pods.
predominant
Yeah.
activity in this game is walking back and forth between your ship and a thing. Like
Oh,
going
okay.
to pick up a thing and bring it to your ship, or
Yeah.
taking the thing from your ship to a vendor, going to get ammo on your ship and going back
That's
out.
the
Like, it's
authentic
a
pirate
lot of back
experience,
and-
Brad.
It's a lot
That's
of
what it
back
was
and
really
forth.
like.
It's
Yeah.
scurvy
It's-
and
So it's really like I'd say early game, like, and I know they've shown off late game stuff in the beta. Like they had some players in there playing some later stuff,
Yeah.
and from streams they've done, and it seems like there's a bit more. But it does seem like it's like maybe instead of just telling you where the chest is, we are going to make you solve a riddle to find the chest. And
Which
I
is
wonder
cool,
if
but-
it is cool, but like
At the end of it, you're still just
if,
carrying a
if
chest.
that is
Yeah.
if that is all, and it's just like higher level, slightly deeper versions of this thing,
Yeah.
that might, and by might I mean that for me that will 100% wear thin immediately,
right.
Yeah.
and it's kind of started to.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if that's the ultimate goal, sure. But if it's like emergent gameplay, that's really kind of
Right.
bringing people together, and you're having
Yeah.
that experience with friends.
That'll
it's
give
the
it some
journey,
more.
yeah.
That'll
And
give
it's-
it some more legs. but-
Beautiful,
yeah.
like when the
Yeah.
sun is setting over the water,
It
like
is
the
a
water looks
phen- it is a
tremendous. The
phenomenal looking
lighting,
water
of the
is, like,
moon off
amazing
the
in that game.
waves.
It is
and
the
all
from the
that.
start.
It's
the best looking water I've ever seen in a game, and
Yeah.
not just the way it looks, but the way it acts, the way things bob around in it
Right.
and stuff. Like it's incredible.
when you get into rough seas and the ship will kind of list over to one side and stuff like there's
Yeah.
like
How is the ship-to-ship combat?
It's cool.
'Cause,
Like,
so are you
everything-
fulfilling a job and like, okay, I'm manning
yeah.
the cannons, I'm steering the
Like-
ship, I'm doing the sails.
like that's
kind of
why
thing?
the higher level like quest design stuff is so frustrating for me, because the base level like group ship navigation and sailing stuff is amazing. Like it's super cool. Like
it requires a lot of communication
Yeah.
because it's very much like the person behind the wheel can't necessarily see in front of them.
Yeah.
So you might
Oh,
need to have
wow.
someone up top telling
somebody
you
in the
where
controls
things
wow.
are.
Oh, that
somebody
sounds cool.
somebody down in the hold,
That is
like
cool.
looking at the map, navigating. Like
Yeah.
it's got the Wind Waker where you can see the direction of the wind.
Right.
So somebody needs to be like angling the sails into the wind. Like it's a really cool.
And then maybe
experience.
like a fourth player just like on cannon duty. But
Yeah.
then even
Yeah.
then it's like you can only man one cannon at a time, and you're like, I need to aim this and shoot it, and now I'm gonna walk to the next one and do it again.
Yeah.
Or am I gonna stay here and load another cannonball out of my inventory? I can only hold 5 or 10 cannonballs. I need to run back to a barrel to get 10 more cannonballs.
Sounds like there's a lot of arbitrary restrictions that don't really serve.
somewhat.
For me, it's the
purpose.
pistol ammo was
Yeah,
specifically the
yeah.
thing. When we got to the skeletons that seemed to be immune to melee damage, and it was this thing of
Yeah.
like, okay, like even though we eventually found an ammo box on the island, it was still not necessarily near the fight. So it was just like pop off 5 shots, run across the island, reload, run back, pop off 5 more
The
shots.
big one,
Man.
the big one for me, having played it a couple hours by myself now, is that you can only carry one chest or one skull or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got 4 different things I needed to sell last night, that was 4 trips back and forth between
Oh
the
man,
boat and the
was-
vendor to sell all my
Oh.
stuff.
I was going to
That
ask,
doesn't
how
sound
is it?
fun.
Like it took like 10 minutes of just walking back and forth.
The sail solo option seems to be like the last resort. Like it's in here, but you have to get through 4 menus of us like kind of trying to match you up with players before you get to one that just says just me.
Yeah,
So you
really,
can
you
sail
can.
solo.
The small boat is totally doable by
Okay.
yourself, but
Do you think the game is playable at all with 3 other randos?
probably
It will try to match. It will definitely match you up with 3 random.
Right, but
people-
how you were talking a lot about
Yeah.
communication for the ship
Coordination,
stuff.
It's got like a dialogue wheel of preset messages, but I don't know. I guess I haven't tried it, so I can't say one way or the other.
Sure.
It seems like with voice chat, anything's possible.
Yeah.
So groups max out at four people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of
You could theoretically have 8 people on your boat,
Group
though.
of- yeah, okay.
You know, but like they're not going to respawn on your boat when
Right.
they die. They'll
Right.
respawn on theirs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. It just, I don't know. Like it seems like a really cool framework that needs.
It sounds like a beta still.
or it
is
doesn't-
what
it
it kind of
doesn't
sounds
necessarily-
like.
yeah,
Like
it
the boat
does,
thing
yeah.
just sounds like something that you should iron out as like okay, this is not
Right.
going to be okay.
and it left me feeling like, okay, the game I thought they were making is not the game they were making, and this is way more sandbox survival stuff than like Pirate Quest RPG stuff.
Right.
And
I think the survival thing is a little more apt than people realized because there are stakes to losing your progress. Like things happen that are a giant bummer.
well, yeah,
sometimes.
if your boat sinks and then all your, if you had a bunch of chests on it and stuff, you're like, well, another crew, but then another crew stole my shit and then sold it.
Here's
So
my
there
experience.
is that kind of PvP action.
Here's
too.
my experience of 45 minutes by myself this morning. I picked up a quest to get 2 different types of pigs.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 45 minutes sailing between islands looking for these pigs. I found one, could not find the other one. Had to go to the bathroom. So I had one of these pigs on my boat, right?
Yeah.
In the 90 seconds it took me to get to the bathroom and come back, a skeleton spawned out of the ground and killed me. I respawned on my boat, and a dude was there jacking my pig.
He was
your pig?
Yeah, that sounds
pig jackers.
That's right. So yeah, like I had spent 45 minutes sailing around looking for, because it had to be like a pink bristled pig. It couldn't have been like whatever. So I kind of like emote at this guy a little bit. I'm like, is he want to party? You want to dance or something? And of course, no. He grabs my pig and jumps over the side. I swam after him and shot him to death. But by the time I got to where he was, the pig had drowned.
Oh man.
So yeah, like that was like almost an hour of sailing around, like very slowly looking for this animal, and then a dude just took it and it died.
A roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah,
no kidding.
and it's not a game with incremental progress, so it's not like you were like, well, at least I leveled up.
Yeah,
at least I
I
earned some
literally
XP.
wiped
It's
away
like-
everything I had done in 45
Yeah.
minutes.
That's
Sounds very, survival.
yeah,
you know,
it is.
like-
It is more harsh than I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
I was thinking it was going to be, and I think this game will totally be for specific types of players. I think we'll get way fucking into just like hey, we're fucking pirates. We're gonna go steal your shit.
Yeah.
And we're badass, and we know how to work these boats. And then you're gonna have like ragtag groups of bumblefucks that have no idea what they're doing to get sunk by these other pirates.
Yeah.
And it just at that point, it's like, this is neat. It's not for me.
You definitely need 4 like-minded people to get the most out of this game. If you
I don't think
if-
there's anything wrong too with the whole, making a game that's mostly about emergent like experiences, but there needs to be a huge variety of them. And so far, it sounds like from what we've heard, you guys have experienced, it sounds fairly limited.
Like the quest stuff doesn't seem like there's not a bunch of story attached to it. It is very much just like sail here, kill these guys.
Also, what you're doing it for, like if you're not getting like gameplay affecting loot and like meaningful character progression, like there's the whole all you have is the show off cosmetics thing.
and it's a first-person game, so you almost never see your character.
Right. That's why I said yesterday that like that stuff's not meaningful for me because obviously there would be an aspect like if you were way into Sea of Thieves and you saw someone dressed up in all the high level shit, you were like, oh, okay,
right,
they've put the time in,
right.
But that's as a first person game, I don't care what I look like anymore.
And at this point, it's not clear what, if anything, that stuff lets you do late in the game that is worth, in terms of abilities or access to new content or whatever. I don't know what else is there.
It feels like it needs some kind of early game thing of just like, hey, here's a slight bump in power to give you an indication of what might be to come.
Yeah.
If anything,
right.
and I don't know.
Like we ranked up with 2 of the factions during that stream yesterday, and I'm still not super clear what that did for us, other than you can buy slightly better quests from them.
Which I assume
But
just
they're the
means
same types of quests.
they were all the same descriptions.
You're still doing the same things. They just give
I
you more
assume
gold.
that means that they're going to be slightly more difficult, and the rewards will be better, I guess. But at some point, I'm not sure that that's enough for me.
Yeah.
But it's a really fascinating thing.
Yeah,
that
man, I want to
bet,
like it so bad.
It seems like the perfect game for them to roll out alongside the Xbox Game Pass stuff, where like if you subscribe to that service, Sea of Thieves and all the first party stuff is now a part of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like as a $60 game,
No,
I'm a little.
especially-
it is
I'm-
included in the Game Pass.
It
right
It is.
now.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, like,
Especially like doubly so for a game that needs a bunch of people populating it for it to be cool.
right.
Like to get all those people in there.
I
Is a
I
good
feel
thing.
like them rolling this out and them offering like a 2-week trial, like you could get in there and very easily discover if Sea of Thieves is for you.
Yeah.
What do
or
you think
not.
is the number one like low hanging fruit in terms of making this game more interesting for you guys? Like, what do you
Like,
want to see in the first
more-
major patch?
Like more and deeper quests, really. Just the thing you're doing moment to moment.
It's hard to say. Like I mean, I think we're inferring a lot because we ran 2 quests, one from 2 different factions. So it's hard to even say.
But like I said, I did some more this
okay,
morning.
you did
and
some more. Okay, okay.
After we
yeah.
bought that first like a title upgrade with the merchant,
Yeah.
whatever, and it was the same type of
Okay.
quest. It's
Then-
more deliverable livestock. Yeah.
Sounds like some kind of raids or something would be cool if you
Yeah.
like, team up with a bunch of other people to take
Yeah,
on
like
some big
faction
threat.
on faction. Yeah,
Yeah,
like some
something-
giant
like
sea
something
battle.
larger
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
To be
Um,
fair, we were playing before release yesterday, so we barely saw like one other ship for 2 minutes or
Sure.
something.
Oh,
like
sure.
it's
Yeah.
But like honestly, like that's not that type of PvP game is not ever gonna be one I'm looking for. Where like it is hey, we worked really hard for this thing and another team swooped in and fucked us over. Like that's just not the gameplay. That's not the game I'm looking for. Period. So that just might be a deal breaker. But I think for me, yeah, it's maybe some like a more interesting persistence to the character that I'm playing would probably go a long way. Like your only character option is like in the menus is delete pirate, which starts you over.
Wow.
You know, it's
okay.
not like
Yeah.
there's no character sheet equivalent or anything like that. Like
That's really baffling to me that there's not a lot of customization and stuff. For this seems like would be the whole reason.
you
Like,
can buy hairstyles and obviously clothing and stuff, but that's about it.
yeah.
Like I almost
Yeah.
feel like, you know, what if it was like a class-based game where
Right.
I was the guy
Yeah.
who could drop more ammo for the rest
Right.
of the team, so we didn't have to
Exactly.
run back.
Yeah.
I give a boost to like sail speeds or whatever.
That's
you
what I
know?
was
Yeah.
expecting it to have a little
You'd think
bit more of that
items would
stuff.
do that too, if not classes. You'd think that's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
there'd be so many options for items.
And if those items are in there, they don't surface them off the bat. So
Right.
like I'm not even sure what we're working for
Sure.
beyond like the satisfaction of faction rep and
Like just basic stuff like a gun that holds more bullets, or like I said, like making your ship a little bit faster. You know, just
Yeah.
there are so many easy little things you could be working toward that just don't seem to be there.
yeah.
Hey, here's a weird question. Does this game have loot boxes?
No.
Because I feel like that would
No,
work.
no microtransactions.
They're all
actually-
kept in the loot
Yeah,
boxes.
like,
and that's
this
where
is the one
yeah.
game where
Yeah, that
maybe
makes
I'd
sense.
like to see
There's
something.
time saver. Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's no way to put money into the
Okay.
game right now.
Yeah, I guess like I expected the transition from beta to release to be something more substantial,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
maybe it's on me for misunderstanding the game they were making, or you know maybe they just didn't convey it as clearly as,
I
as they maybe
should
could
say,
have, but
I don't know about you, but if we had not streamed the beta, if yesterday was the first time I had ever played this game, I would be way more enthusiastic right now, because like that base stuff, you know, like the ship sailing and just how cool the water looks and all that stuff is like
Seeing it the first time.
pretty
is-
revelatory the first time you see it. But we played all that in the beta, so
yeah, there's a certain amount of fun to and
just learning the ship and like kind of getting good at steering it, because you know it turns like a fucking aircraft carrier. You know? Like, you
Right.
steer and then it takes like 15-20 seconds for it to really start.
And it
going.
kind of really only takes maybe 2 to 3 people to get the boat going, which always left me free to play my accordion or get drunk or, you know.
Yeah, like it's got a ton of personality. You know, like when everybody gets their musical instruments out, they all sync up and play the same song.
That's great.
That's
cool.
cool.
And stuff like that. It's cool.
But then you get back to port and it's kind of like the same 5 NPCs with like very generic dialogue, and there's nothing really tying it all together.
That's too bad.
So it's just, I think you have to go into that thing really wanting to have emergent pirate adventures, and if you're not looking for that specific thing,
To be ready to role play.
yeah,
As a pirate.
totally.
Get your pirate accent.
At some point, it's
polished.
like, did they just make a streamers game?
Yeah.
Of like, hey, you're streaming, so talk like a pirate,
Right.
Like, yeah.
the top, I shouldn't even say this, the top Sea of Thieves stream that I clicked on Twitch last night, the dude was full on like Jack Sparrow outfit.
I think
There you go.
that's his shtick.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. Who,
I
I don't know
think
who
he
that
does it
full time.
I don't know who that was. but-
Pirates
He's
love
been
this
waiting
game.
for this pirate game to come and finally match his Twitch persona.
Yeah.
So-
Finally.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know where they'll go with it. I'm sure they're going to add stuff post release, and
I think yeah.
Is there any way to try it now? Like, or do you have to basically pay?
It's
60?
so the
the
Game
Game Pass
Pass
trial?
thing. There's a 14-day free trial
Okay.
for Game Pass, which is
Okay.
like their like Netflix. Like
and then you
just
try any first
totally.
party.
so you could totally play this game 2 weeks for free.
Because I was gonna.
I'm gonna have to
You
check
said
that
it's a $60 game, but it almost sounded to me like this would make more sense as like a free-to-play thing where they just make their money off of buying cool stuff, but then there's not really cool stuff to decorate your character with. It sounds like too much yet. So
Like some of it's like, oh, the Admiral's watch looks nicer than the baseline
Yeah.
watch, but no other player is gonna. I mean, you can show your watch to other players. There's actually a dedicated button
that's
for
right.
turn
That's
your
right.
map
Yeah.
around and
Oh,
hold
really?
it up.
It's cool. Like, dumb stuff like that is
yeah,
neat.
Yeah.
it's a good. it's got a lot of good dumb stuff
yep.
that is like fun to do
Like
the
when-
first few times.
Like when you get drunk, you can vomit into a bucket and throw it on your teammates. You know, like, it's,
The way you're describing it makes me think of a hub world for a like getting ready to play the actual game.
Right.
kinda,
Yeah.
but even then, like, you know, it's you getting matched in with players, so it's not even there's no social hub for me to throw up on a large quantity of players. It's just the three that
your
I've been
friends.
matched with.
DLC. That's
well, whoever
Yeah.
you run into.
Or yeah. If you run into someone in a non-violent way and they don't immediately try to shoot you, then maybe you could throw up on them.
Keep a bunch of buckets at the ready.
Yeah, like we were streaming yesterday, and I think Vinny was getting drunk, and
Yeah.
But what was he doing in the stream?
also getting drunk. It was very much he was
Very
living
meta.
he was living the gimmick. And there's a great animation in there. So like when you have enough tankards of grog, your character just eventually throws up every set amount of time, or randomly, or whatever it is. And until you sober up enough to stop doing it, and you can throw up on other players, and it will like wash over their screen so they can't see. But also, it will happen no matter what animation you're in. So he was in the drink, and I've been this person. You can be in the drinking animation and start vomiting, and I was like, "This game's pretty good." But yeah, you can also like in a bucket and then throw the bucket on someone. Like there's a lot of dumb.
Oh, does it work on the skeletons?
I wonder if that would slow
Oh.
down the rust
There you
skeletons. Yeah,
New strats.
yeah.
Skeletons eat bananas in the middle of combat to regain health. Like,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's canon.
where does that banana go?
That's a rare thing. Old habits. die
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it's got a charm to it, you know.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
they definitely like dot a lot of I's and cross a lot of T's on the charm front, but like the game,
It's like the pirate experience is fantastic, but like the game part of it,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really want to get people together and give it more of a chance, though. Like, I want
sure.
to get out there with people and see what happens.
Yeah, but like the stream we ran yesterday, by the end of it, I was like, I'm having a good time, but I'm also still weirdly baffled by this thing, you know, in a weird way. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what people start to think about it now that it's out a little more widely.
Yeah.
We'll check it out some more.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Who else played video games? Who else?
Real quick, I spent Saturday with a bunch of fighting game people who were watching Final Round, which was that stream we dipped into.
Oh, yeah.
And it was nice because it was these are people who are like way more into fighting games than me. They go to local tournaments and stuff, and just being there and talking with them about Dragon Ball, and like these are mostly like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue players. There was a Tekken guy there, but it was cool like having this game
Did they
again.
beat up the Tekken guy?
Well, no, I mean they tried to, and then he did a cool move. He flipped him into a wall and
fair
then just
enough,
punched him
yes.
against the wall for a half
And then
hour.
everyone just air dashed away.
Yeah. But it was really cool, like just talking, like having that common unifying game that everyone was excited about. Everyone was talking about Dragon Ball. Everyone
Yeah.
was just like
Yeah.
getting really into it. We were watching like we had a stream going while we were like hanging out, and it was really cool. And then
That seems to be the exact opposite of what happened in like Twitch chats. Like it seemed like the zeitgeist
really?
was just like everybody's picking their own game. They don't like Street Fighter or they don't like Dragon Ball, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of infighting in the.
well, I mean,
FCC.
it's Twitch chat. It's always going to
yeah,
be.
no,
yeah.
I'm seeing it on Twitter as
Scourge.
well. So
Yeah.
it's just
But like people I've talked
Twitter,
to,
way better.
but I want to see more people coming together. You know,
Yeah.
so this is the time.
And then really briefly, the top 8 for Dragon Ball at Final Round was like hands down one of the best top 8s of a fighting game tournament.
And
I've
one of the,
ever
no
the
seen.
kidding.
best
Wow,
grand
nice.
finals that I've seen in a
Yeah,
long time.
it,
Wow.
it was a rematch of that exhibition, that first to 10 between America's best and Japan's best. And it went down to the
Final
wire.
character. Yeah,
Like-
so they reset the bracket as well. So it came down to two games.
There was like some
character,
serious
one
moments in there, like
character.
where he got off the self-destruct super because he got behind him when he was doing another. Like it was really
amazing.
entertaining. The commentary was great. It was like the numbers were the highest I've seen in a fighting game stream in a long time. I've personally not been checking into a lot of
Yeah.
them lately, but it made me really excited for Evo, like CEO, all the tournaments coming up.
You can tell that people are like genuinely excited about this game. Somewhat in particular, like it's nice to point out that there's not a huge pot bonus for
Yeah.
for that game. So normally that'll the company will get behind it. they'll throw in 10 grand or something like that, and then players will flock to it. But there's-
NetherRealm is very good about doing
totally.
pop bonuses and supporting that way.
Yeah, but this has been grassroots. Like this has been people just being genuinely enthusiastic about it. It's been really fun to watch.
Did it have more registrations than
Yes.
Street Fighter?
Yeah, it's currently the
At
number
Evo, yeah.
one registered game for Evo. It's like Dragon Ball, Street Fighter, Tekken, Smash.
Sounds about right.
Seems
Wow.
crazy to me. I mean, that's
Yeah.
great.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
You
but-
need to have new, fresh
Totally.
games coming in.
It's cool people appreciate that game on a technical level because for a newcomer watching it, it just looks like fucking batshit. Like it's impossible
Like
to follow
Marvel,
that game.
like-
Yeah, if you don't know the ins and outs of it. So
But something we did talk about is like even it does have that approachable level of like these are characters that I like. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, these are characters that I know, and I don't know anything about. Like I don't even know how to do an air dash, but I can sit here and watch like Vegeta fight Frieza, and I'm like, this reminds me of the show. This is like triggering that same part of my brain that
Yeah.
liked it in the first place. Like, yeah, Evo's gonna be good this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's so late this year.
Yeah,
August, right?
The first week of August.
Yeah, it just seems wrong not being like around the 4th of
Yeah,
July.
yeah,
Yeah.
always 4th of July. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think it's awesome to see like new games getting picked up and yeah, kind of just maybe even like a little wake up call for Capcom. Like,
Right.
hey,
totally.
in case you didn't realize it
Yep.
internally, like this is like a wide community of people saying like you guys are maybe not getting it done. The way that
Yeah, I hope they learned the right lessons from this game's success.
Capcom versus Capcom. I'm telling you, there's never been a better time for them to make their own versus game and not rely on external partners who will only get in the way.
they've got the stable.
They really
characters.
do. Oh man,
They've
yeah.
got plenty of characters.
large
yeah.
roster.
Yeah.
I mean, we were playing Rival Schools.
Yeah, all those rival schools
I
characters.
miss Rival Schools.
The car from
Darkstalkers
Speed
too.
Rumbler.
Yeah, Darkstalker.
Here's a quick question about Dragon Ball: Is that game significantly better than other Arc Sys games, or is it just that it's Dragon Ball? Like, is that why
That's
it blew
part
up?
of it.
It's I don't know if I would say it's like
There's not as many systems.
there's not as
Yeah.
many systems.
It's not as complicated.
It's closer
right?
to like I feel like the Persona side of those games where they've
Little bit.
the auto combo stuff has made it a little easier to digest
The
than Guilty Gear.
barrier
Guilty Gear is
to
hard for me
entry
to-
is lower
Okay.
for sure,
Mhm.
but the skill ceiling is close. Maybe a little under a Guilty Gear or a Blaze Blue, but
Seems like it. Yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
honestly, even at the top level is still evolving at this point. And
And it's coming from a different place by being like a tag game. Like it has some of that the three
Marvel
character
stuff,
teams and
yeah.
stuff, like a little bit of that Marvel stuff working in there that you don't really
Oh,
see in a Guilty
absolutely.
Gear.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so like the depth is even coming from a different place than kind of the systems heavy stuff of Guilty Gear
Well,
or I guess Blaze Blue.
The last thing I'll say about the tournament that was pretty funny is Sonic Fox, who is the American player playing in the grand finals, is famous for his stance on Vegeta sucking
Yep.
as a character. He has a hat that says Vegeta sucks, and it came down to last character him losing to Goji's
my
Vegeta.
God.
Wow. He
Couldn't have
tweeted
written it
afterwards.
better.
He's like, Vegeta's pretty okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a really good tournament. I didn't watch any Street Fighter stuff though.
Me neither.
Really?
Yeah, I tuned in for Dragon Ball, but
How many characters have they put out for the season 3 stuff for Street Fighter? Who is Blanca out yet?
Yeah, Blanca's,
Blanca's out.
and his bloody
Is
costume.
Sakura
Yeah,
season
Sakura.
3?
Yeah,
so those
she was the first
two.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
just those two so far. So they have what, 2 more? Something like that.
And they
Either way,
announced.
anyway.
Either way, I'm just like, oof,
Yeah.
having a hard time getting back into that game.
They
for
announced
sure.
Brawly and Bardock are coming out the end of this month, I think.
Okay.
Like the 28th or something.
Oh, so
Okay.
2 characters. I thought it was just going to be Brawly.
Oh, maybe it was just Brawly, but
They've announced 2
They've
characters.
announced
Okay.
I
two
don't know
for
if they're
sure.
coming at the same time.
yeah, okay.
Who's the recent Egyptian character that like
Manat.
Infiltration plays? I that still cannot wrap my head around watching that character. Just like the
She's one
spawning
of the
things
most
behind her.
execution
Like,
heavy
it just
characters.
seems
She seems like she's
insane.
out of like Guilty Gear.
yeah, exactly. It seems like somebody out of a different game, and like, I mean, Infiltration is fucking amazing in any character, but watching it, it's just like, how would you defend against this? Like, how do you even?
Seriously, yeah, she'll throw a ball behind somebody and it's
Yeah.
like I would freeze completely.
Exactly.
And lock me down. Yeah.
The amount of stuff going on. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I was having fun watching that.
I think
more
they've done a pretty good
recently,
job of having a diverse roster.
Yeah.
I think in Street Fighter.
It's getting
for
better
sure.
every day or every
Well,
patch.
Yeah, yeah. They're still continually working on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're making good strides. They're making good eventually.
They are.
It's a shame about that DLC. All the DLC. Why are you so expensive?
Yeah, but
Good
fight money,
Lord.
Jason. You
No,
can just use all your
no.
fight money.
Your fight money.
Nah, son. I am not playing that single player. No. Sorry.
How do you feel? I mean, with the way that the scene seems to be, I guess, opening up, maybe like how I would phrase it. Like it feels like we are probably about 3 months away from a Mortal Kombat announcement. Like, how do you think that's going to be received? Do you think it'll be like,
Depends
oh,
on how much
the
they change it up.
NetherRealm players will be
Yeah.
there for it, and maybe that's it? Or
Dragon Ball has that overarching, Dragon Ball, attraction, but it
Yeah.
also attracts anime players. It also attracts Marvel players.
KOF players are in the mix.
Yeah.
Tekken
Right, yeah.
players.
And that's, it's down to gameplay and it's down to roster and, how well it's supported, We'll see how far NetherRealm goes out of their wheelhouse.
yeah,
NetherRealms has been one of the most more isolated sects of the fighting game community. It seems like
Yeah.
there's not a huge crossover between.
But
They
Mortal
always
Kombat
were.
players.
They always were.
Yeah.
That was like
That's true. Yeah.
But those
People
fucking
are
MK2 days, it was
passionate.
like people were just pissed, one way or the other.
Yeah.
They were mad about something.
Yeah, we'll see how if they just stick to the same old playbook,
Yeah,
which is a good playbook. There's a lot
It
of
is.
really,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
really
yeah.
passionate people.
Totally.
That are
Those
super
Those games
into
sell
that.
too.
They've
still.
done they've done what, 2 MKs and 2 Injustices now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
In that style. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, I think. Well, yes, yeah. I was gonna say MK versus DC was kind of the first game to get back into that feel, but it was still different enough to kind of be its own thing. I want to go back and play some of that game. It's been
Which
a long
one?
time. MK versus DC.
All right, okay.
If you
we'll
All
try.
right, take to the lab.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I want to see where the science nets out on that one.
Yeah.
Because also, think about it in terms of
I played a bunch of it.
think
yeah.
about that game coming out after those 3 Mortal Kombats
Yep.
that came out PS2, Xbox era, where it was like a totally different weapon fighter,
3D
Yeah.
weapon
Yeah.
fighter.
and then getting this thing that was like, oh, you can uppercut again. Oh, I can just jump again. Like it's back. Okay, this
Brought it
they're
back,
they're like
man.
they're like halfway back to the classic form.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good return to form for sure.
but yeah, MK9 was where they got it. So yeah, I don't know. We talked to we talked to Ed Boon at E3 last year, and I asked him you've been through these changes. Do you see it happening again? And he was very much like, oh yeah, totally.
Really?
we have to keep
Yeah.
making these changes. So I wonder if this will be the game. If this is going to be the game where they reset a lot of stuff.
I hope so. I think it's
They
time.
found pretty good success with the loot stuff in
Injustice.
And so it'd be
I think that was
interesting to
handled
see if-
pretty well.
Yeah.
It worked out better, for something that you looked at and went this is going to unbalance the game. But I
Nope,
think
it was it was a
But I think that's
non-issue
that,
in
that
tournament play.
if the nicest thing you can say about it is it's a non-issue, was it actually a good system?
no, it's great for single player. That's the thing. It's
Yeah,
great for
yeah.
that, and then it doesn't impact the competitive scene.
Sure.
That's what's
yeah.
good.
I guess that's all you can. Yeah,
That's
maybe
what's-
that
that's
is the
what's
best
good.
you can hope for.
Like it's still there if you want it, but
Right.
When does Soul Calibur come out?
That's this
not
year.
soon enough.
I
Summer?
might be able to tell you that in just a second.
I wanted
You
to
guys-
say it was September-ish or something. but-
Sometime later this year.
Okay. It's this year too.
Says this news story we'll read in a minute.
So Smash this year too.
Yeah.
Lots
Yeah.
of stuff this year.
Yeah.
Lots of fighting game stuff. What did you guys talk about The Witcher and Soul Calibur?
We're good.
What's your take? What's your hot take on that?
Get there shortly.
Oh, okay.
Seems cool.
That's this
That seems
this
cool.
time.
I think Geralt's hot.
Yeah.
That's my hot
He
take.
is- he
Kind of
is.
an interesting question. Who do you, if you're working on Soul Calibur, who are the characters? Who's your modern day Link or Star Wars Yoda, Darth Vader? Like
yeah,
who's
I-
going to
yeah.
actually move units
I thought
John Wick.
I thought
these days?
Geralt was a pretty savvy choice,
There you go.
honestly. That's
Totally.
kind of it's not super obvious, but as soon as you see it, you're like, yeah, of
Right.
course, he's got a sword.
gonna work. He's
and
got a sword.
and magic. He
Yeah.
fits
He's
right
snarky,
into
like-
a weapon fighter. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
He
Yeah.
looks different enough from
Yeah.
the existing characters that yeah.
It's a fun choice. Yeah.
Like-
I might have said a Final Fantasy character if Noctis
Mm.
wasn't already coming to Tekken.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I would have
I
liked
didn't
to
even
see
realize that.
2B or A2. Or
Two-
something.
that would
yeah.
be a fantastic.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Somebody should be writing these
Man,
down.
right.
Good
Yeah.
ideas.
That would be good. I would rather have 2B in Tekken though, just because I like Tekken more than I like Soul Calibur. That's yeah.
She's got that sword though.
Yeah.
That's what this
Well, whatever. Akuma fucking throws fireballs. That's a weird game already.
Okay,
There's a
comrades,
lady
you get
that
9. You get 9
throws
S in Tekken.
tigers. She throws tigers. Well, she summons them. She's just like go there.
Did
Right.
they-
The tiger goes
Did
there.
they? Speaking of Tekken characters throwing fireballs, did they ever officially 100% cancel
No. No, they didn't.
Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Like I feel like
They still haven't.
I feel like the last thing they said was like, "Well, we're on Tekken 7 right now, and when that's put to bed, then we'll revisit." And honestly, like
I hope
you would
that's
have
the game
assumed
that
it would be
will-
totally dead, but Akuma works so well in Tekken 7 that it made me think like they have to make this game. Like now, I super want this game.
Yeah.
In a way I never would have expected, man.
Right.
Seriously.
So yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
that's
I'd
if
almost
all the
wonder.
work they had done to date was what they filtered into putting like Geese and Akuma into Tekken 7 and
Right.
finding a way to make that type of fighting game character work in their engine,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
go with God, man.
Do it.
Like
Yeah.
get the rest of that cast and go. Like
Yeah.
I'm totally there for it. That would be a very exciting game.
Yeah,
weirdly,
same.
which I never would have thought.
Real quick, Jeff, did you play any more Burnout?
Yeah.
You've been playing Burnout.
Yeah, I'm still
I've-
playing.
I played a bunch too.
I fired it up. Yeah. This sounds trite because I'm at least the third person on this website to say this, but I can't believe how well that game holds up
Mm.
and how much fun I'm having with it.
Mhm.
10 years later.
I need to grab that. So that came out
It's-
here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
and there's a physical version. It's not just digital.
Sweet.
And
Like it,
How much is it?
40.
40.
Okay.
which
Oh, really?
I think somebody even wrote in to the podcast saying like it's down to 30 some places now.
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for physical? Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
which maybe
And it
doesn't.
does have all the DLC, you know. All
Yeah,
the,
Right,
it is a
right.
decent amount of content. Like 40,
Yeah.
40
Yeah.
I haven't even gone to
load.
Big Surf Island yet, and I've played like 20 hours.
It's just so much
Wow.
goddamn fun, man.
that game is yeah, you're right. Like parts of it hold up. Like we ran a review. Like most of it holds up incredibly well. There's stuff around the edges of like there's like quality of life stuff that we think of as second nature now that wasn't then that I wish that they took into account and put in like fast travel or stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like
sure,
there's like a minor form of it that they patched into that game after 6 months of it being out, 10 years ago. But not what you're actually looking for. Like the navigation around town could be a little bit clearer
Yeah.
and cleaner.
Yeah, sure.
There's just like little bits and pieces like that where you go like, oh, in the decade since the standards around some of that stuff have changed, and this could be this could feel 100% like a modern driving game if they did just a few things to it.
The thing it does for me that like almost no driving game does is just keep me like entertained and like surprised all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's constantly throwing more stuff at you that's not what you're already doing. You're not just running a race after race after race. It's like, oh, this car is in the city now. Take it
Yeah.
down
Right.
and
Yeah.
you can drive it.
And part of
you're
like
always
not-
finding new stuff to
and
do.
not having fast travel is a very deliberate thing
Yeah.
because they've put all these billboards like collectibles in world
Yeah.
for you to get that if you were just warping to the next race you wouldn't find. If you were just warping to the next race it would actually be a kind of a boring driving game.
Totally.
But you eventually get to a point in that game, which is I'm rapidly approaching, where I have hit almost all of the shortcut gates. I'm like halfway done with the billboards. Like you'll hit all that stuff and just go like, okay, I want to knock out the races now. And it'd be nice if there was a faster way to knock out the races.
Especially because like sometimes you'll have a couple next to each other, but it'll take you all the way to the other side of town.
Yeah.
And then you got to go all the way back.
Yeah. So some of that stuff is a little clunky, but it looks great. They did meaningful work to it. It's not just an up-res to 4K. But
I have
it
one,
does still look kind of like that game.
one weird minor problem I have with the game is since it has all the DLC cars in it, like right out the gate, you don't have to progress through normally. You can get one of those faster cars. And the weird thing is like, so when you unlock a car, you get its burning route, which is basically a race. And if you complete that race, you get an upgraded version of the car. It also has all the burning routes for all the DLC stuff, and it's like flooded the map. And so I had this I basically now just have like a Wikipedia page of where all the burning routes for the cars I'm actually looking for are, because going through that map is impossible.
I
So
almost
the
wish
thing they
they
don't
had-
tell you, if you drive around, you'll find those burning routes, and when you get into a car that has one, it'll show around the edge of your map. It'll show you basically the general direction of it.
Oh, okay.
Around the edge, so you can drive there. And the other thing that I don't think they ever tell you is if you don't know the burning route for a car, if you drive it through a repair shop, it lights it up.
Okay, I didn't know it would
and
like
then it'll- but
signify
then it will
I thought you just had to
show around
look
the
through
edge
every
of
symbol
your-
that is a burning
Yeah.
route and find the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could be better about conveying some of that stuff for sure.
I almost wish they had put in a feature to like toggle the DLC packs on and off.
Yeah.
Like just play the game without the later stuff.
Well, it really is just as easy as just don't pick one of the fast cars. That's what I've been doing.
That's what I've been doing, but sometimes it gets in your face a little bit.
And the game balances around the car you picked. So if you go into one of the early like C-class races with one of these boost crazy late game cars, you race against fast cars, which actually you don't want to do because if you haven't learned the city and all this other stuff, that's a game that like every part of it fits together so incredibly well, where just like the feel of the cars match the design of the city in this really incredible way. That I think that's the thing that I noticed the most about going back to it that is totally lost from other driving games. Because so many other, like the Need for Speed open world games, all this other stuff, like by and large, they're trying to make a real world space. And they're going out and looking at like, well, what does a city look like? What's a natural way to lay out a city? And it's this grid and all this other stuff and a lot of straight 90-degree turns and all this sort of stuff. And we'll put a freeway in there. We'll put a mountain in for drift races, I guess. But it doesn't feel like they built the city for you to have fun in. Whereas Burnout feels like they went over that thing a billion times, went like, this edge is rough and sometimes you catch on it and crash. Yeah. So smooth it out. So if you miss that turn and are grinding along the edge, you can still do it. And you might find the shortcut that way or something like that. You know, and then the shortcuts are the risky spots where you will find fucking walls and hard edges that you crash into, but the roads are generally safer.
Now that you mention it, I feel like I'm better at this game than I should be, and I think that's why. Yeah, they give you just enough outs when you fuck up to like you said, just barely drift through, even though you hit a wall and stuff like that. And
barely drifting through some of that stuff feels fucking incredible.
Yeah,
like
totally.
the feel of
it's
the
like
cars.
a lot of near misses.
Yeah. And it's like the cars are lightweight in a way that like if you're making a game and putting like, well, we got the real Ford Mustang, we put all these real awesome cars in here, like you're just not going to have that. Like they weren't restrained by trying to make something that felt real. And I think that's the thing that like Need for Speed, like, I mean, whatever, Need for Speed has been saddled with a bunch of weird shit over the years, like all their like fourth rate Fast and Furious knockoff storylines and just all the bullshit they've crammed into it has not done it any favors. With the exception of the first Most Wanted, which was hilarious because it was trying to do that Fast and Furious thing. But like they get saddled with too much of that shit of just like the progression is tied to this weird story or it's tied to loot boxes in the case the last one they put out. And then they've got a world that feels like it's built to be a real place first and a game second.
And like they want you worrying about your crankshaft.
Totally.
And suspension and stuff like that, and I just want to get in a cool car and go fast. And drift around.
Well, I mean, that upgrade system in that last Need for Speed, it was literally just like parts. It was just like you got cards for parts that you could equip on a car, and if you equipped 3 of the same part, there was an affinity bonus that went with it, and they tried to do like a gear score.
Like a Destiny
not
level?
entirely unlike Destiny in some ways, which Forza, whatever. They've other games have done that stuff better. But yeah, whatever. I hope that this coming out, and I hope that the people that are responsible for making decisions around driving games at EA, like, are at least looking at this. Because after like the last few Need for Speed games have been such fucking just very underwhelming. Yeah. This generation specifically of Need for Speed games have just been way off the mark in different ways every single year. Like they need to look at this and just go like, oh, well, yeah, maybe it's because we are trying to do this big dumb story and trying to build a real world place. And like Paradise City feels real enough, but is still like a weird video game roller coaster or something, Sure. Like it's.
Yeah, I may be too simple and or old, but I kind of miss just like the Ridge Racers and the Daytonas and the Sega rallies. And like Burnout at least seems sort of like more of an evolution from that aspect, which to me makes it interesting.
It's fun. I miss Ridge Racer, which they made a lot of them that all had the exact same tracks and they killed it. They did it to themselves.
They were kind of the same game, 2 or 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
Like around 5 or 6.
Yeah, or they're just like, we put this stuff out on PSP before, but hey, you haven't played it on PS3, so here you go. Or vice versa. Yeah,
you really just nailed it by saying simply that it's fun. Like I'm playing Vermintide, Dota, fighting games. Like I'm playing these games that I find really rewarding, but they're frustrating because I have to put so much into them. With Burnout, I am having fun within 30 seconds of turning
upbeat.
it on.
Nice. We talked about it. I think we mentioned it when we were streaming or something, but it's like that it's like that. It's like Daytona. It's like that blue sky video game of just like, this is some fucking feel good shit.
Yeah.
And then they've got
like cheesy pop punk,
right,
and like DJ Atomica is like, and,
yeah, the pop punk of the era
Yeah.
was bad then and has not aged well. But at least it's like upbeat and not like this like fake edgy shit that just like, yo, we fucking Skrillex remix this shit.
It's
nothing
lighthearted.
against Skrillex.
It's
but
lighthearted and positive,
yeah,
and that goes a long way.
yeah.
I need more of that in my life.
Like it reminds me of some Dreamcast games in a way.
Oh,
Just the attitude that they had, just like kind of a positive outlook.
I need a Dreamcast attitude.
If only.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about the news.
Marvel is set to unveil its first scripted podcast ever.
Scripted podcast?
Scripted podcast.
How does that work?
It's like this pod. You read you write down the stuff, and then you say something, then I say something, then you say something, then I say something.
Ooh, we should do that.
We should check that out.
That sounds good.
Yeah. It is going to be available exclusively on Stitcher Premium. That's right. Marvel is getting ready to drop Wolverine: The Long Night. It's going where no audio series has gone before. You're going to want to be a part of this from the start.
You mean Logan himself?
That's right. This gripping tale follows the story of Logan, a strange newcomer in the small town of Burns, Alaska.
Stranger with claws in his hands in a strange land.
Yeah. You'll be immersed into the heart of a murder investigation, following along as special agents explore a string of mysterious deaths around town.
Wait, so it's like Private Eye Wolverine?
That's kind of what this is sounding like.
Private Dick?
That's right. Dick Wolverine is on the case.
Check this out.
Richard Logan, please.
Oh, of course,
No,
yes.
Logan. The series stars Richard Armitage as Wolverine, who you might know as Thorin Oakenshield from the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah, I did. I actually totally know that.
Okay.
They're right.
Okay.
I might know him as that.
The copy is true.
Yeah.
Plus Scott Adsit from 30 Rock, and a special appearance from comedian and podcast host Chris Gethard. Huh? If you want to listen right now, this is available now.
Oh, wow.
You can go to wolverinepodcast.com.
Run, don't walk.
Yeah. That's
that website.
Snicked don't snap. I don't know. And you can use the code MARVEL for a free month of Stitcher Premium.
Wow.
Okay, let's get through that. wolverinepodcast.com.
Yep.
Use the code MARVEL.
Snicked.
And you get that free month of Stitcher Premium.
Got it.
All right, let's bang through all these news stories. I know you guys have places to be at the GDC. But there's some news to talk about, and here it is.
What you got?
Drake played Fortnite on Twitch.
God's plan.
There's your news.
Okay.
To the tune of 600,000 viewers.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
For like a single streamer kind of.
It's like double the previous record.
I thought it was like 400.
No,
was
it was 300 something.
No,
That's what
I-
the
Depends
story
on if you
says.
believe what Twitch says or what screenshots of some. There was like a big controversy about what the biggest Twitch stream was. Because
It's all-
Twitch said it was some guy. Twitch said it was a fucking Dr. Disrespect or
when he
something,
came
right?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah.
This-
That's the
And
new
then
record.
there was another League streamer who like had there
Got
were
up to 5.
screenshots of something higher. Whatever.
Kotaku's story says it was 388,000 previously.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
So when this happened, this was in the afternoon in Japan, and I was coming back from a meeting, and a friend who works at Sony messaged me and said, like, yeah, nothing, like we were about to talk, and he's like, yeah, no hurry, I'm just sitting here watching Drake play with Ninja. And I'm like, what? So we had a whole conversation where I was thinking it was John Drake, portfolio director. We had a whole
And
like
you're like,
30-minute conversation. Literally, I get back and I like turn on the stream because I'm like, oh my God, I have to see this. And I'm like listening for Drake's voice because he's playing with like 3 people. And I'm like, I'm not hearing Drake's voice anywhere. And I'm like, is he using like a voice modulator? Like, and I'm even seeing GIFs on Twitter where people are using the Hotline Bling video, but I still think that they're talking about Drake because they're just
Drake,
making
John
a joke. Yeah, because they're all people who know him and they're like friends of ours and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So.
I thought the
I
same
went
thing.
through. So I had an even like. Mine was even maybe a little bit dumber than that because I saw someone from Epic on Facebook saying like, "Oh, I had to just jump on a call and make sure that Drake could get hooked up with friend request stuff or whatever for the and I was like, oh, I guess
Yeah.
Drake followed Ninja and the Fortnite account on Instagram a while back, so I guess this is just the next step in that. But then it was like an hour later this was happening, and I was like,
Right.
oh, okay. Like it's the sort of thing that like doesn't seem like a big deal, but also seems like, yeah. Well, I don't know. I came away from this feeling like this just. Like if there was any doubt about Fortnite and where it was headed, and
my
all this
Lyft
other
driver
stuff,
had heard about this like when I came back, and he was somebody who was
crazy.
kind of like a little bit into games, but this does seem to me like one of those things that like people end up hearing about like on the periphery of games. They're like, yeah, you can make money streaming. He was just talking to me like, I hear you make $3.50 per subscriber on.
I don't know if
he like knew all of
Did you
these
see
like
this Ninja interview yesterday?
Yeah.
Where he said he made $500,000 last month.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, man, you make that guy's probably got I don't know how many subscriptions he has, but if you're making $3.50 per, you can almost do the math, and that's before sponsorships and other things. So
Right. And the Amazon Prime tie-in stuff
That's
the
means
thing,
that people
yeah.
can subscribe without spending any of
Merch
their money
for quote unquote
Yeah.
free. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So
Yeah, it's I don't know.
he's
like,
good too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He knew what he's doing, and like I had not watched a lot of Fortnite. Watching Ninja play Fortnite is like modern art. It's like what is even like
is
he's building things
incomprehensible at
are spinning
times.
around. It's
Yeah.
like it's amazing. Like it really doesn't look like a game at times. It's just like a flurry of activity.
Yeah, so it's just I feel like the cadence of like big things around Fortnite, like
Yeah.
big mainstream things around Fortnite has just been picking up in a way that I
Like,
don't think anyone
It's got
could-
momentum,
like
crazy
yeah.
momentum.
Like literally, like week by week, we're in here with some bigger story. Like
Yep.
like 3 weeks ago, it was NFL players, and then it was Roseanne after that, and now it's this.
Yeah.
And there was like the team was it the Baltimore the UNCB the college basketball team that beat the #1 seed team in the tournament and knocked
right.
them out. Like their quotes afterward were like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like your first win in Fortnite. And so
Whoa.
there's like
Are you kidding me?
Sports
Yeah.
Center
Yeah.
talking about
Wow.
Fortnite on top of this stuff. It's like,
Wow.
what the
Like I
fuck
saw
is
some running back
happening?
who was like, "Oh, my first Fortnite victory was better than any touchdown I've ever scored." Like,
Wow.
And it's
Insane.
like that sort of stuff on top of that. Like it's happening at a pace that is just like wild. Like you look at
Yeah.
it and go like Minecraft didn't have like this type of people vouching
Not the
for it
speed.
this early
Yeah.
in the
yeah,
game.
it was just like a bunch of kids who really loved it and,
and
were
it
playing
got
it.
Yeah.
and it obviously got huge. But like
Yeah.
you look at this and it's like, okay, now there's like this weird mainstream momentum
Yeah.
behind this thing. That you see a lot of special interest stories about this
Yeah.
thing that is then free.
Yes.
Like it's
What does it mean for PUBG? Like, is it?
well, what it means for so Fortnite's week was they had this thing and then the next day put it out on iOS,
right.
Yeah.
which also seems like poised to just like fucking be huge.
Those games are here. I know you guys talked about Knives Out, and some people were like,
Yeah.
"Wait, what's Knives Out?" It's like one of the biggest games in the world, and has been, and even in Japan, where I don't even think it's localized. I'll just be walking along, seeing kids play it. I hadn't heard of it until New Year's time, and it was already super huge. And so, yeah, Fortnite coming out, being the same game,
yeah.
which is also kind of a new crazy thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty good port. Like, it's a touchscreen controller, which
Right.
is not great, but
Right.
like in terms of performance and stuff like that, like it's that game.
Yeah.
It
And
runs
it
pretty
just-
well.
The fact that it interfaces or can
Yeah,
interface with the whole real ass game.
I would not want to interface with
Yeah,
PC
no
players
kidding, I know.
with the touch controller, but
Even a console player,
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
get
yeah.
destroyed. But
I was in the touch only hopper, but a guy who was clearly high level because he was wearing a bunch of crazy shit like smoked me. Like
Yeah.
clearly skills are transferring over to the
Yeah.
touchscreen.
But like, so I think what this means for PUBG is the following day, PUBG, or I think it was yesterday,
Yeah.
PUBG Mobile came out in
on
the
iOS,
US
yeah.
finally. It had like been
And
soft
Android.
launched, or it had been out in China and then soft launched in other places, and it was
and
finally.
and you know we
Well,
talked,
here you go.
yeah, and we talked last week like they're putting out a smaller map in PUBG that they say they want faster matches on and stuff. So like
Emotes.
Yeah.
seems like they are following in the footsteps of that game.
Which some of that stuff is like natural. Like, of course, you would put
Yeah.
emotes in it because you
Yeah.
want to have
Yeah.
another thing to sell or
Yeah.
whatever it ends up being. But yeah, the timing of it all feels very reactionary to where Fortnite has been going.
What the hell's going on? Monster Hunter's cool. Anime's cool again. And now, yeah.
Yeah, but
Music
I think we're
sports stars. They
it's-
game just like us.
Well, fuck, man, I don't know. I don't know if it was like if you guys have the same memory of this that I do, but like I feel like in the 90s and 2000s and stuff, like covering games, no one wanted to see you talking to a celebrity about what fucking games they were into.
Yeah.
Like that was Insight's whole thing.
I was just gonna say,
like
Insight,
Ice-T on the
like-
cover talking about Resident Evil,
Right.
and like no one fucking cared.
And also, I don't know how many press events I went to with celebrities at them. They clearly did not want to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Like it was this like forced marriage.
Sort of the difference then though was they didn't give a shit
Yeah.
basically, and now it's
And,
like,
and
well,
at most they were like, I like the Halo.
yeah,
Right.
Like,
yeah.
that was the most you could hope for out
Yeah.
of that interview.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously, like a lot has changed since then. But like
Weed
now,
3
it seems
happened.
yeah, Weed 3 happened.
That
People
was the
saw
moment.
Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was the other Fortnite thing is they
Yep.
have a celebrity tournament happening at E3. So hopefully Zac Efron will be back on an E3 broadcast,
That would be so good.
high as fuck.
I hope so.
It's like a pro-am thing, so it's going to
Okay.
be two-person teams, one celebrity, one pro Fortniter.
All right.
Oh, right. The 50 and
Uh,
50 or something.
Yeah, so I
It's our chance, Ben.
All right. Wait, which one of us is the pro and which one of us is the
Which
celeb?
one's just
Both
high?
of us together
I mean,
are the pro.
Like Snoop can legally smoke a joint on that stream now.
I would hope
if he
so.
plays in that tournament.
I would hope so. California has, come a long way since
since-
Weed 3.
Yeah.
Some say that was the kickoff.
Yeah,
that really needed
people
to get
saw
this
that and they were
state.
like, well,
How funny that a game that was designed to kind of bite off another game,
Yeah.
Minecraft, is now found ultimate success biting off another game,
different game.
within that game, but keeping
Also-
the first game that it was.
yeah.
The big irony to me is they spent like 6 years making the original Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they made
Released.
this mode in by all appearances
Yeah.
like 3
And there
months.
were
Yes.
modes that they were showing to press in that game years ago,
Yeah.
like for that Game Informer cover thing that just got killed.
Right.
There was like other stuff that game was, and so
all that time and investment, and then the thing that took off, they put together like
Right.
at the last minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have to say this huge boon in success for Fortnite is great for me as a mediocre Fortnite player because there's lots and lots of new players coming
yeah.
onto the game and I feel a lot better about my skills.
maybe I should try to pick it back up.
Interesting.
Yeah, Minecraft is kind of like one of the comparison points and stuff like that, but I still feel like I haven't seen anything like this with what Fortnite's going through right now.
Right.
It's huge and mainstream in a way that like I feel like even the biggest of games don't get, because like usually
And the speed, like GTA
Right.
got there, but it was a long road, and it's even
Yeah.
now still selling. But this is just like in the last 6 months.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the big kind of AAA games and stuff that were like big mainstream launches and stuff, like that was all driven by marketing,
Right.
And it was like, oh, we lined up some celebrities to be in this commercial, or we did this and did this. And
Yeah.
if they're paying all these players, then they're violating a lot of FTC regulations because none of them are disclosing. But like the number of people, like you couldn't have timed it better, which is what
Yeah.
makes me like almost like a little conspiratorial
Yeah.
about it.
Suspicious, yeah.
Is because you're like,
Yeah.
okay, wait a minute, you're telling me that the biggest Fortnite streamer teamed up with Drake the day before you put out your iOS beta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
That just
Okay. I
happened.
see you. I see
Yeah.
how that,
Yeah.
but I just don't know that that's the case.
Yeah. He
Because
said straight out he
it's
wasn't.
too much everywhere.
Yeah.
It's too much from too many different sources for them to be paying. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything
We
like this.
talked about this after the holiday. My new thing is how I figure out what the next big game is going to be is like my nieces and nephews, what they're talking about at Christmas is actually going to be something big. And then if my brother-in-law knows about it, then I know it's going to be huge. Like I know it's going to be massive. And if he even understands what the game is, and they all knew Fortnite. So like they started describing a game and I'm like, oh, you're talking about PUBG. And they're like, no, that's not the name. What it's blah, blah, blah. And they were all talking about Fortnite. In that same trip, I was in a random GameStop just overhearing conversations, and there were like 2 or 3 of them about Fortnite. And I was like, wow. They're like, oh yeah, no, don't do that. Fortnite's free. It's going to be free or something. I forget what they're talking about at that point. But yeah, that's what you can play on your PS4. That's the like PUBG for PS4.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow. But like there wasn't that much talk amongst like the friends that I know who all talk about video games and stuff, and that much excitement about it. But yeah, man,
I think that's
bubbled
what
up
happened.
fast.
That's what happened with Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
Is I feel like I played some Minecraft.
Minecraft is
Yeah.
a perfect example of this exact thing.
But I played it when like, oh, this is rough, but like there's something
It's
really
cool.
cool
It's like
here. This is
Lego.
really neat.
I like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, I checked that out, whatever. And then like 6 months pass and you're like, this game is everywhere in a way that is insane. And then Microsoft buys it. And there's like books about, like multiple books about Minecraft.
There's toys at Walmart of like Minecraft streamers. That's when I knew when I saw, I was like, this is not a Minecraft toy. This is and this was years ago before like streamers you would even think
a Markiplier toy.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, holy crap. And then same thing with my nephew had a Minecraft server, and I was like, wait, really? Like, okay. And that was before it had really blown up. But yeah. But in Minecraft, Minecraft definitely took way more time. And I think this being free to play and so accessible on every system, and now mobile is really where it's primed to explode, and especially in China and some of the other regions.
I'm starting to think of like PUBG and Fortnite as like the Dota to League transition.
That's
like PUBG. PUBG kind of like defined the genre more or less, but it's just a little too impenetrable and hardcore.
Yeah, and they both spawned out of
mods. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But then Fortnite is the one that's like it's pretty enough and accessible enough and it's free. Like that's the one that went out wide to everybody.
Yeah.
For those reasons.
It is weird because watching people play Fortnite, it does seem a little more complicated in the way that especially high level play, constantly building shit and using it, and like that is a more to think about for sure.
It changes the encounter ranges. Like you think about PUBG as like, in a lot of ways it's a sniper's game.
Right.
It's like that, those long distances and stuff like that. Whereas like Fortnite, because you're building cover, because you're trying to bide your time, like it can be more of a shotgun game.
Right.
You hear a lot of really good Fortnite players constantly talk about the high ground. Like maintaining high ground is a big thing in the game. Like when you're building, you just gotta always be above the other player because it's easier to jump down and shoot them or
also
lob
shooting
grenades.
up at somebody is harder than down. But
it's been really fucking cool. Like I'm not huge into Fortnite, but it has just been insane and cool to watch this shit unfold. I'm just like, man, this is a really wild moment for games.
And I thought that stream was pretty entertaining. I thought like I don't really watch a lot of big time streamers, like the really enthusiastic kind of new gen of streamers you see. But I thought he did a great job handling the, I'm sure, insane pressure of the situation of having like one of the most maybe like we were sitting in the office and we're like, who would be like a bigger deal to get than Drake, right? Like we're like, if we could like
that audience
anyone,
too, like
Obama.
I was
we're
just
like
gonna say
Obama.
I don't know.
Like presidents were the
but I don't
only
know.
names. Yeah, even then it's just like maybe not. But
right.
Yeah.
I turned it off though when Kim.com joined.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people saying that.
I heard about that.
Yeah. That was also the moment where you're like, oh, no one's paying for this because you wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
You would pay money
This is
to
not a
make sure
PR
Kim.com
stunt.
does not show up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also he hasn't been extradited yet, so
Right. Get him on the server, find his IP address. Do you think he plays Fortnite through a VPN?
Oh, surely. Absolutely. Let's see, other stories for the week. Shadow of the Tomb Raider got announced.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it was called that like 2 years ago.
Yep.
Or something. That was the one where some dude had the marketing materials open on his laptop on a train.
Oh man.
Somebody just saw it over his shoulder.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it's Eidos Montreal. It's the Deus Ex Thief people, not Crystal Dynamics this time.
Yeah.
But,
Interesting.
they're calling it the climactic finale of Lara's origin story.
Okay.
There you go. Coming out in September.
The end of the
Yes,
beginning.
the end of the beginning.
Okay.
No exclusivity this time.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, the last one was that like what, year long, I think.
Yep.
Xbox exclusive, and but it's coming out on
That
everything.
didn't work out so well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that must not have paid off for them. Otherwise, they would have re-upped. But
I think I want to say that trailer still had the Xbox logo on it,
Hmm.
but not.
maybe it's just a lesser
Yeah.
deal.
Right.
Just kind of more of a standard co-marketing thing or something.
Let's see. We talked about Geralt in Soul Calibur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, remember Star Wars Battlefront 2?
Yes.
Take the abrupt sucking in of air as an affirmative.
It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop here.
They are rolling out the totally redesigned progression on March 21st. Who wants to play more Battlefront 2?
I'm good.
No?
I haven't really played any to start.
Yeah.
Do you think I should now?
Maybe?
Okay.
I just don't think it.
Like they're rolling, so basically they're rolling out a cosmetics system. They're saying that all the actual like gameplay progression is linear now. Like you just level up the stuff that you were playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like there's no more like you cannot buy loot boxes to get random skill upgrades anymore.
But if
like,
you
that whole thing.
unlocked stuff previously, you'll still have
Yes,
it, even
yes.
if you're not at the player level that would have it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not locking things up that you may have unlocked previously.
Do you think this is gonna work for them?
I don't think it matters at this point.
so.
I don't think this
It's
this
very
doesn't
drastic.
bring players to this game.
It's too long. It's
Yeah.
been too long.
Like they're already getting ready to. They're already marketing the next Battlefield game.
Yeah.
True.
They're or I guess that wasn't an official
That was a
announcement.
leak, but
But they're getting
They're
ready
getting ready
to
they'll
to-
announce
yeah.
that at E3.
announce the next Battlefield.
Yeah.
The next Call of Duty's already been announced. Like I feel like that ship sailed.
At the same time, they had to do something, right? Like you can't just leave this the way it was.
Right. They
Like
they had just enough
you-
players that they probably had to make good on
Yeah.
it.
You might piss off too many people.
And honestly, this is a good testing ground for what they do with Battlefield from here on out. Is they're like, okay, we're going to rebuild the system and see what people think about it because we are obviously thinking about our next game as well.
And probably Battlefront 3. Maybe.
I wonder, man.
I don't know. Actually, yeah.
Like, do you think that that did lasting damage to the Battlefront name?
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I think it did for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might be committed if they might, I mean, there might be a
licensing,
contract though. Their Star Wars.
Yeah.
I honestly,
get
I
paid.
feel like you change the name of it, even if you're making the same game. You could just like, look, we've come up with a
Yeah.
this is a different game, or just name it around the campaign or whatever, and just be like,
Speaking of going wide, that whole thing was another thing that I heard from my relatives that don't know much about video games. Was like, oh yeah, what is this terrible thing they did to the Star
I hear you
Wars
guys are
game?
dirtbags.
Yeah.
I hear all you video game guys.
Trying to cheat money out of kids.
Trying to get little kids hooked on gambling.
Yeah, but I was surprised how, because all the financial people heard about it because it affected the stock,
Yeah.
and so
And then,
like
government,
that became a
government
thing.
people started getting involved.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine. If they paired this with like a very deep discount, maybe you get some people back in. But
Yeah.
like, does that matter? I don't know.
I don't know. Like I see people talking about Sea of Thieves saying like oh, they'll roll out stuff over time, it'll get people back in or whatever. But then I think back to like this and like Destiny 2 and stuff, and it's like
There's a window that you need to hit.
yeah, like you've
Yeah.
got
It can be
one
hard getting
yeah.
people back.
You've got like your one big chance at launch to really impress
Yeah.
people, and if you don't, it's tricky.
Because windows are getting shorter and shorter. With
Yeah.
each-
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I think if you look at, I mean, that's what Ubisoft has been doing really well at, is all the way back to
Supporting
Rainbow
their
Six
stuff.
Siege
Yeah.
and stuff of like this kind of longer term support stuff.
For Honor, yeah.
Yeah, For Honor, the dedicated server stuff. Like, I don't know if that's like turning into sales successes or something, but Ubisoft seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, I mean the big difference there is I don't feel like any of those games super flubbed their launch. Like there was not a narrative around any of those games. Maybe The Division to some extent that they like blew it out of the gate.
I think For Honor maybe had some like issues. Like I remember people being pretty bummed out by For Honor at launch.
A lot of the balance stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. But they seem to have kept the ship afloat, steering in the right
Right.
direction now. But yeah, they're going
And they took
heavy
their
on it,
time,
so.
and people seem like they just did that dedicated server thing, which seems
Yeah,
like
that
it
seemed like a
was
big
well
deal.
received.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like multiple seasons of content, like Siege, I think is like the classic case of
Yeah.
like that game launched and people were like, all right, well, whatever.
And now they're selling like a year 3 pack.
Right.
Like that thing's still going.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I don't think Battlefront's that game. Ultimately, I just don't think the core of Battlefront is good enough to.
EA doesn't even want it to be that game because, like you said, they have a new game to sell every
Right.
year.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, sure.
Yeah.
Unless they have, I mean, but also they probably have a lot of ground to make up to, I was going to say Lucas, but I guess Disney on the sales forecasts or whatever. So maybe they.
The mouse is a harsh master.
EA versus EA.
Okay.
Let's cut Disney out of all video games. They already backed out of their own.
Yeah.
Cut the licenses stuff out too.
They got Kingdom Hearts. They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
Speaking of EA, Microsoft is kind of following in their footsteps by not having an Xbox booth at E3.
I heard that.
Really?
That was
Oh,
bad at
wow.
E3,
They will be maintaining their booth presence because you don't give that up once you have it,
Yeah.
right? But it's all Mixer. Everything on the E3 show floor is just going to be Mixer, their streaming service.
It sounds like they will have their games there, but it
Yeah.
is focused on.
in a Mixer-like streaming.
I
sort
think
of
that might
capacity.
be like, hey, come here and stream our games from our booth or something. If you
Part of
are
it.
if you are
Yeah.
a streamer, like
Part
at
of
least,
it.
'cause, you know,
But they're setting up at LA Live. They're
At their theater or
yeah,
whatever. right?
yeah, they will be there. They're running a big what are they calling it? Xbox Fan Fest, I believe.
mhm.
Where they'll be over there with.
for free or tickets or
Don't know if they
gotta be
said.
free,
My
right?
impression was that it was still attached to E3 and like,
Like you
it
would
was
need a
still
badge
like
to
your
get in?
badge will get you in.
okay.
But
Oh,
I guess
really?
I don't know that for
Oh.
sure.
they've been needing to shake stuff up, especially with it being so consumer friendly now.
Totally. I mean, if the show's going to continue changing, then they need to be better at catering to those attendees, and this is a way to more floor space for your games is the way to do that.
Although I guess if they're still tied in with the ESA, that is different from EA,
right?
Because EA fucking got out of there.
Right.
You don't even have to have an E3 badge to go to their stuff.
Yeah. But
still,
their stuff is generally wrapped up by the time E3 even starts.
Yeah. Still a pretty big change though. Like the idea of not having an Xbox booth at E3 is kind of nuts.
Yeah, the hallway's gonna look weird.
Yeah, like that fucking classic shot down the hall with like blue and green on each side.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's the iconic E3 shot.
The mixer colors, I don't think are
blue.
It's
green.
kind of a purplish or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Not quite the
Well, it
same.
can't be purplish because
Right.
maybe
blue.
Sony needs to just rebrand as a Twitch booth,
Okay.
and then they can have that.
Yeah.
That's where games are at now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Mixer, sure.
Damn fine.
It's fun.
Tech,
the
man.
tech is really good.
Very low latency.
Yeah,
That light speed stuff. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's something else.
and awareness seems like the thing they need to build about that service if they ever want to try to go up against Twitch.
Yeah.
In a real way. So yeah, I guess.
Late breaking business news this morning. Vivendi has fully divested of its share of Ubisoft.
Yes.
I saw Ubisoft employees on Twitter seeming very jubilant today.
Wow.
Yeah, that's worth celebrating.
Yeah,
I think,
because
right?
threat of like hostile takeover basically has been hanging over their heads for years.
Yeah. So this is like, it's like they're getting all their shares. Vivendi has gotten out of Ubisoft and they've agreed not to get back in for 5 years.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting.
Huh.
And then as part of this announcement, it's like the stock is just going right all back to Ubisoft or to some other investor. It's like
So like
Tencent is now in.
the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan.
Major players.
They're going big.
Yeah.
Guillemot Brothers
Bringing their
SE,
guns.
which I guess is the Guillemot's like whatever
It's a
Right.
family.
kind of holding
holding
company or
thing.
something. Accelerated book building.
Oh well, yeah. If 10 cents in, then accelerated book
Oh,
building's got to
well,
be.
that's
in.
right.
I
Sure.
assume that's a
Tencent
company.
leads the round, and then but then some of these stocks are just being bought back by Ubisoft and will make the shares worth more money to existing investors. So it's
Like the upshot of this is Ubisoft is basically like fully in control of its future. Now,
because Tencent
right?
does not have voting rights. It's
Yeah.
like they own 5% of the company, but they don't have a seat on the board or anything
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, that threat from Vivendi was pretty real for a long time.
Yeah.
and
Like-
just seemed crazy, but
One or two of those E3 press conferences had a real like dire vibe to
I'll tell you,
them.
man.
Seriously.
Now I really want to see that press conference
Yeah.
because them feeling like, oh, we fucking did
Just
it.
walking out on stage like what?
That's right. Just pushing shit over.
Because was it
You
last?
should have killed me while I had the chance.
I forget if it was last E3 or the one before where it was like Yves Guillemot at the end of the press conference with like brought like everybody who had presented anything
they
up on
did the
stage.
SNL ending.
Yeah,
right.
And like he was this very like final sounding like we want to thank you for the
I
decades,
remember that, yeah.
like decades of your support and stuff like that. And it was like, dude, what is going?
It had a very much like this is what the freedom of being independent is what makes us make great games.
Yeah.
Don't let Vivendi do this. It was like the unspoken thing, right?
Yeah.
It was like it felt very calculated, but also like makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like I think people like to talk about EA and Activision and all this other stuff as being like these huge publishers, but like Ubisoft is like right up there too.
Yeah.
And
they are.
Whatever. We were just talking about it. Like I think they've done so right by their games and their players. Like they don't always get it right at launch. And I've definitely seen people unhappy with Ubisoft games.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. But they
but
seem like interested in fixing shit
Yeah.
instead of just moving on to the next thing.
Well, I mean, don't forget they went through the crucible of Assassin's Creed Unity,
totally.
which is
Yeah.
perhaps the most dire make good I have
Absolutely,
ever seen.
man.
They gave away a free game, like a free game that had just come out.
Yeah,
Like,
they
totally,
totally.
they've been through the ringer.
I hear a lot of stories of them doing good by their employees too. Like I know a lot of people who are just really happy to work there. Like of the
multiple
giant
people I
mega
know, yeah.
corporations, to me they seem like the most sort of pure. So I'm
Yes.
glad they survived this.
People I know seem very happy there.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I don't know. It's cool to see that payoff, or it's cool to see this and try to think of it as a result of them standing by their games and continuing to they pushed back Division DLC to get it right, to fix the fucking game, and getting there. And
Like Assassin's Creed turned out well after they took a year off.
and the reaction to the announcement of Division 2 wasn't like, oh, they fucked us over last time. It was like, hey, they care about this franchise.
Right.
Like we're in.
Especially because they're putting out more updates for Division 1 after that announcement.
right.
They're still putting out stuff.
And
for that
so to
game.
see a company stand by its products in a like more meaningful way than like, here's our year of DLC and then please buy the next one.
Mhm.
Like they're still doing that too, but I think it's cool that they've seemingly prospered while also seemingly doing right by their properties. And
Good has
and-
prevailed.
Yeah.
Like
a
that
good
Far
point.
Cry. I'm sorry.
No, that was a good point. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
That Far Cry 5 Season Pass even looks kind of cool. Like, as shitty as Season Passes can be.
That's the stuff I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
because I'm very much into the idea of Far Cry 5 as making good on their potentially grim story.
Yeah,
them
that's-
announcing let's go to Mars
Yeah.
is like just it's another signifier of just like this might just be another like kind of meaningless Far Cry game with all the same goofy shit. When I think there's a potential to tell and they announced that game.
Yeah.
Right.
They showed us that game as a much heavier thing.
Yeah.
Which is divorced from the final product in a way. Like, people don't necessarily need to keep that in mind, but like as someone who saw a very grim presentation for what that game could be,
Right.
and then to see all the other trailers be like, and you can fly planes, and I don't know, fuck it, shoot shit, whatever. And you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, right, you're still just making a Far Cry game. You're not actually making good on this potentially more meaty story that is there. We'll see how the final product rolls out. But like that season pass to me says they're making another Far Cry game. So that's a bummer, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see. Last story. I know you got a meeting. Try to get you guys out of here on time. Who has a fat PS3 in this room?
I think I sold mine.
I've got a broken one and another one.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Mine's in the closet.
score for you.
I think I've got two.
Who wants $65
Oh, I got an email about this.
Me.
out of this class action
I-
lawsuit?
I do.
want-
I
Love
do. I want
money.
it.
I would
I
like
want it.
$65.
This is the
Can I have
first.
85?
Sorry, no. No, in fact, if anything, the more people who file claims, the
Yeah.
lower that number is going to be.
We
But
should cut this out then.
yeah, like this is maybe the only game-related class action suit I've ever seen with like a double-digit payout. It's usually like seven,
Right.
Yeah.
$7 or like
Double digit.
$350
or like
something.
a free game or something. Like the
Sometimes-
Sony outage
Yeah,
was a
like,
game.
I
Was that
I
a-
did a
right.
Red Bull one, and it was like either $4 or 3 Red Bulls. And it was just like
Three Red Bulls is
Yeah.
worth more than $4.
Yeah.
So
it's cheaper for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sony got sued over taking the other OS function out of the original PS3.
Scandalous.
Oh.
And here we are years later.
Wow.
And if you have an original PS3,
Yeah, I'm still mad about that.
Hey, Jason, what's other OS?
You can install Linux and stuff,
there you go.
man.
Okay, you totally qualify. You have to like
yeah.
legally swear as part of this claim that you were
swear
aware.
I wanted to put Ubuntu.
Yeah, like you have to swear
on
that you
there.
knew that Linux was an option.
I
on
just
the
like that
PS3.
penguin a lot, and I wanted him to show up.
I bought the PS2 Linux kit, so I know a thing or two about
Right.
There you go.
not using Linux on a console.
yeah.
I love how they email too, because I got the email from them, and it's like, if you own a PlayStation Fat.
Yeah,
Oh, so that's a
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
a legal
the
name
legal
for
term
it now.
is the PlayStation 3 Fat.
No
Wow.
better way to name it.
For sure.
Someone get some cash, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think you've got like a month left.
Yeah, I think they want like the serial number.
Yeah.
I got that.
And like
your
your
broken one.
your PSN name.
I'm getting this.
I don't think you can. I bet you can't file it twice.
Yeah, I bet you
Probably,
can.
that's probably
There's
true.
got to be a
Jason.
spreadsheet and a database that you don't
Ah,
screw it
but-
up for me.
But hey, maybe
Just
your
file it
maybe
under
your
Griffin's
wife
name.
bought it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who's to
true.
say? Yeah, it's.
Bring
I
back
remember. I
Linux.
feel like at the time they
Bring
removed
back-
it because it was a hole
Not used,
for
really. I don't know.
for hacking
piracy
stuff.
or hacking
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
That sounds right.
Like I wonder how this ends up netting out for them in the end. If the potential loss of money from piracy,
Mm-hmm.
which is always a very dubious number whenever anyone cites it, if that ends up being more than what they'll pay out through this class action.
Are people really upset about this? Like, this seems like
Hoppin'
opportunist to me.
mad.
Like, I mean, who was that upset that this had to become a lawsuit?
There are open source people out
That is
there that
true,
are
yeah.
like into doing
There
weird
were
shit.
way
All the
cheaper
people that were trying to use
alternatives
PS3s to launch Scud missiles
right.
were fucking bummed.
Yeah,
'cause they
Rich-
came in, updated the firmware, and went,
That's
"Oh
me.
shit,
That's me.
we can't launch these missiles at all."
Richard Stallman is very upset about this. Nobody got that.
Yeah,
I just nodded.
It's,
and-
yeah.
Yep.
Smiling.
I tried. Do you guys want to read 3 emails or do you need to bounce?
We're okay, I think.
I'm
Okay,
good.
let's read 3 emails. I know you've got a meeting to
We
get
got
to.
time.
Okay. All right. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. Here are 3 emails.
Boom.
Chris from England.
Yeah.
100 people drop out of a plane and into a television studio where they team up to face one other player in a high-stakes competitive quiz. I believe this to be the next logical step in the battle royale genre.
Yeah, no, 1 versus 100 needs to come back.
Yeah.
We all agree.
Yeah.
Now is the time.
Now is the time.
Yeah.
100
Now is the
player
time.
games.
The
You
land-
could-
if
they,
you
because
could
they
play
could say we are 101 players.
Yeah.
How are we gonna
One
get it if
versus
you can't
100.
play it?
Also, I feel like the landscape is primed for a trivia game of sorts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get
that
the
is-
Smash TV
That
announcer.
is not
Yeah.
HQ. Also, I didn't pull it in here. Did you see there's like some big cheating scandal in HQ?
Is
No.
Dan, is
There's
Dan
like a-
involved?
How?
I did not dig into it too deeply, but they had some high stakes, like $25,000 game, and
Yeah,
then like one of the
saw that.
finalists apparently got nailed for cheating and was ejected. And
It was one. It like they had. I think the game was they played until there was one winner.
okay,
They had like a special $25,000. Only one person's gonna win. So
Yeah.
maybe it was
Oh.
that one.
How are they cheating?
Yeah, that's my
I,
question.
that I wasn't sure.
They had a room full of phones.
Yeah, it's possible
Gotcha.
they were looking up stuff or something. I
They
don't
were
know.
Scott Rogowski's
Yeah.
brother.
HQ really fell off rapidly.
Mm.
I don't think it has. Numbers wise,
for us,
I think
for
it's just
people I know.
people have
For people I
started
know.
talking about it less. I think
Yeah.
there's the realization that like, oh, the people running this have a track record of being shitty.
Yeah,
Scott Rogowski, though, seems like a good
Yeah,
guy.
seems like a
Yeah.
stand-up.
In
guy.
some interviews with him,
You
he
gotta get
seems
him
that-
out of there.
That dude seems okay.
Free Scott.
yes,
Yeah,
totally.
Hashtag free Scott.
Alan from Brooklyn.
But I think they have like 2 million people still playing that game. So
Jeez,
it's
wow.
still
It was like half.
Take that, Ninja.
Yeah,
I think
take
it was-
that, Drake.
I think it was like half a million less.
Scott
played it.
Rogowski is bigger than Drake.
Alan from Brooklyn. Is Yoshi fat or is that just his natural shape?
Is he fat? I don't
know.
think
I know
even
he's
in
got
his
fat
shape.
cheeks.
Yeah, he's got
fat
jowls,
or-
kind of.
If you think
He's
about
shapely.
the baby
I'd call
Yoshi
him
is
thick.
still thick.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
thick.
And then Yoshi kind of just, it's like that puberty thing of like, oh, you hit that growth spurt and kind of even out a little bit. And so adult
he's
Yoshi
still
is
proportionate, but chunky.
I mean, he's got to carry Mario, so he's got to be built.
Seriously, that's what I
He's
was
a
thinking.
dinosaur.
It's not
yeah,
fat. That is
yeah.
solid muscle.
Yeah,
Okay.
built for utility,
Yeah.
built for disposal.
it's the way God made him.
Built for eating?
Boo, on the other hand, is fat. King Boo,
Especially
Boo.
Big Boo. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pretty round there.
That big
Yeah.
boo.
Has Yoshi ever been eaten? Has anybody ever?
He's
ever-
delicious.
Kirby
In
ever-
Smash?
Yeah, it was Kirby eat a Yoshi.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Kirby can eat a Yoshi.
Like,
Yeah.
what does like roast Yoshi look like?
Probably like a.
Also delicious.
Probably like a.
Like a lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
if
what
you-
does roast lizard look like?
Tastes like alligator.
It's on
Yeah.
a stick. It's
Which
served.
is-
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, alligator's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oh, alligator bites. Oh
Yeah.
man. Mm-hmm.
Deep fry.
Yes.
Yes. A little cornmeal batter.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. We'll talk later.
Okay.
Oh man.
Some county fair shit. man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. Last email. Dan from Boston. The Street Fighter II World Warriors spend a lot of time on planes. Who do you think the best? Who do you
Goes real quick. So it's just like
Yeah.
China.
Who do you think is the best and worst to travel with? Do they have comedy routines around airplane food and services? Who's paying for all these flights?
Worst is Sagat because he just complains about legroom the whole time.
Mm.
Yeah.
He
That would be
does
rough.
complain a lot. Yeah. But Blanca smells.
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna.
It's true.
Blanca seems like the easy answer.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be annoying.
Blanca
can't
flies
sit
in the
in
cargo
all
hold.
kinds
Like
of
in a
electrical
in
problems
a cage.
and-
Yeah.
Oh, you know who's the worst? Dan. Like, because he's
It's
just
kinda
like
annoying.
he's just going on. He's
Yeah.
doing his
Yeah.
shtick. He's
Yeah.
like
I know.
trying to impress the flight attendants.
Also, he always shows up in like flip flops and gym shorts.
Yeah.
He can't even put on real clothes.
Ken flies private.
Yeah.
Bison has a military plane.
Yeah, Guile flies the plane.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
feel
That's
like
that's the new re-release of Street Fighter 2 I want is with character-specific planes on the screen.
Okay.
That's it. That's the
Ooh,
only
yeah.
change.
Okay.
They only fight at airports.
Yeah.
Who is funding all that travel?
The World Warrior Organization, Shadowloo,
Shadow,
Yeah.
Shadowloo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bison dollars. It's all
Yeah,
bought for and
it's
funded
all-
by Bison dollars.
I see.
which is my cryptocurrency that I'm launching today.
Oh my God.
Pretty excited
I
about
think,
it.
I think the stock of this podcast just went up like tripled on you mentioning that.
I can't wait to invest in Psycho Coin.
Yeah.
I can't wait to pump and dump.
I feel like in the time it took us to do this podcast, I got 20 more emails about gaming things,
Seriously.
like launching their own coins. And
Oh God.
Cryptocurrency big at GDC this year. It
It
seems.
really is.
Who's the most embarrassing? Is it Atari? Who's the most embarrassing? Like really? Who's like
Atari might
joining
be the
this
one, 'cause
whole
yeah,
cryptocurrency
probably.
thing?
It's like Atari's trying to fund
They're doing two, right?
Yeah, they're doing two.
What?
Yeah. What's the second one? One of them like Pac-Mans or something. Like one of them is like a one of them is
one's Atari
Atari's.
tokens.
Okay.
And then another one is for
It
the
was
crypto
like a
lights just in
game
front of me.
thing. Yeah. Uh-oh.
The other one is for raising money for some other project they've got going or something.
Okay. I thought it was like an
Bushnells.
in-game.
I want
joke or
McDonald's to get
something.
involved, and we can invest in like nugs and fries.
I invest in nugs and fries all the time.
It's a short lived.
20 at a time. I mine them out of the drive-through window.
All right, that's it for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
thanks
at
for having
all.
us.
Good
It's
time.
always a
Good to see ya.
pleasure. Absolutely.
Great to have you guys in. Get the perspective from across the pond.
Yeah, why don't you guys? I'm gonna do my annual like entreaty to come to Tokyo Game Show.
We should go to Japan.
It'd be awesome to see you guys. There's also Bit
How many
Summit
years have we been talking about this
in
now?
May.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just saying we haven't been since 08.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
This
think we
fall,
say
this
every
fall,
year,
this
but
fall
it's-
it'll be 10 years
This is
since
the
it's
10-year
time.
anniversary.
Of not going.
I feel like
we-
in Japan. I wanna be-
Ideally, I feel like we missed the whole like
Yeah.
Akihabara changeover from used game stores to porn, and now it seems like maybe there's some new game shops coming back.
Super overpriced, but
They're coming back, but there's less and less PC Engine games out there to be had. You guys got to hurry up.
That
and
was
make your move.
they're
yeah.
disappearing. That generation is slowly. It's actually starting to get rare, but you'll still find. Yeah, there's still lots
the
of
prices,
good stuff.
even like eBay prices for CD games specifically for PC Engine stuff
Uh.
have just been going up and up and up.
Even like SNES carts, even something as common as that.
Yeah.
it's getting
There's
weird.
just that line, that collector's line, and I think it just has to do with the average age and how much people are making at that much money. But like, yeah, it was 8-bit stuff, and then a couple years ago, it finally moved up to 16-bit stuff. The PlayStation stuff is the stuff that people are saying now you should jump
now-
on
now
if
it's
you're
while you
going
can.
to, that's coming.
Jeez.
But yeah, there's still lots of good stuff out there. There's lots of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We should go.
I've mostly been talking about trying to get out there separately from work stuff, like me and my wife heading out and stuff.
Oh,
but,
cool.
But I don't know if this is the right year for that, honestly. Because we're already making travel plans for other spots.
We've been talking about it at home.
Yeah.
We've also been talking about it at home.
Maybe we should just go.
Just do it all at the same time.
Yeah, that's right.
Shut down the website. Vacation week.
Yep.
All right, that sounds good. On that note,
They announced the new Giant Bomb TV update. Just
yes,
a little
Giant Bomb
bit ago.
Infinite is now the name of Giant Bomb TV.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
Right.
It's like a
Nice.
good name.
Always
and a bunch
on.
of new features
you can
added.
follow GB Infinite on Twitter.
Yeah, it'll
Oh,
tell
nice.
it'll tell
All
you
the-
when the next
It's not gonna
what the
repeat.
next video is.
Yeah.
No more repeats, and if it's been played in the last like few hours.
It's the last 100 videos.
100
Don't
videos,
repeat.
yeah.
How much total do you guys know? How much total
I think it's over.
time?
I saw somebody saying it's over 6,000 videos. I don't know what the total time is.
I thought I saw 3,000 hours. I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Someone did the
35.
math on it.
Yeah.
There,
That's a lot of hours.
But yeah, there's a lot of
For
stuff
sure.
there.
That's awesome.
That's,
I love
that's
that.
still
So we see
for
everything.
premium users. I think
Yes.
we haven't opened it up just
Yes.
yet. But
Yes.
but that's giantbomb.com/infinite for that stuff.
Also, stick around for the after show.
GB
That's
Infinite
right.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, we officially release you. Good luck at GDC.
Yeah.
Thank you
for coming.
guys.
Good luck at your
Thanks for
meeting.
having
Go make
us.
deals.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Giant Bombcast. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Customize your shave with the new Schick Hydro 5-cents razors and refills. Equipped with innovative shock absorb technology, the razor auto-adjusts to how you shave. 3 custom gel formula razor refills enable you to further personalize your shave, while 5 Ultra Glide blades maximize contact to help reduce redness and irritation. Try Schick Hydro 5-cents razors and refills and experience a customized shave today, available now at Walmart for an everyday low price. For more savings, visit schick.com. That's SCHICK.com.